Boopity boopity boop. Hello,
Bibbidi bobbidi boo.
Hello, my friends. How we doing?
Hello.
Wow, it's been a while since it's been this configuration.
Full house.
Yeah.
Everybody's been traveling. Everybody's been on the road. All right. So
That's the Full House theme?
I think it is. Yep. Lodged away in my brain, stored like junk.
in there, not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
Everywhere you look,
Oh,
everywhere
God.
there's a place with somebody who needs you.
There's a
Everywhere.
place filled with 90s hairdos.
Oh man. So how has the travels been? Jason, you were a traveling man last week.
Yeah, went to New York. Also, this last weekend, went to Reno for the weekend, which is not quite as glamorous as New York, let me tell you. But it was still a fun weekend for my daughter's swim meet. She kicked some butt.
Nice.
So yeah, I've been doing a lot of traveling. I'm ready to not travel for a little bit. It's kind of exhausting. It's one of those things that I'm like, oh, I think as I get older, traveling isn't as easy as it was. You know, the bounce back isn't as easy. It's like being on a long flight. 2 days in a row. It's just, it catches up.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, you do a good amount of traveling, right, Mishaal?
Yeah, but it's still uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like I like when I'm there, I don't like the process of getting there.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I like the process of. I like travel. I don't know. I enjoy it. It was funny because I was in Chicago.
Well, okay, Mr. Public Transit who doesn't have to drive an hour each way to get to the airport.
No, that's not true. I'm out here on Long Island. It's an hour. It's a $150 Lyft ride to and from the airport if I want to take a car, or it's an hour. It's an hour by train.
Hang on a minute.
If I don't have to. Oh, bye, Win. If I don't have to. If I catch the train. Right. If I have to wait for the train, it could be longer. There is a train, thankfully, but still. But no. But I like the airport. I like getting a bite to eat. I like sitting down. I like I like the whole process. I flew to Chicago last Wednesday, and then got back Saturday. And I was all the concerns about the government shutdown and TSA. I was worried. I had no problems. Everybody was in a great mood. None of my flights were delayed. I was very lucky. Jason, I don't know if you had similar or
I didn't have any issues, any travel issues.
Couldn't even tell there was a problem.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's because we're still early days. It's only been like 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks.
Yeah. 3 weeks now.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's we're eventually gonna hit a breaking point. Just like last time.
Yep.
Yeah. But, as far as travel is concerned, like my most uncomfortable piece of travel is if I don't fit in the seat, the seat choice that I end up in.
Yeah.
But even on longer flights, like as much as like it can be kind of uncomfortable at times, I kind of like the excuse to just sit there and watch stuff.
Yeah. Which is, I don't honestly,
You know what I mean?
I don't do as much anymore. Like I sleep on the plane really well. So like, depending, like I took a really early flight to Chicago and I just passed out and slept for the majority of it. And then I just ran myself ragged that whole trip. I was on a 4:30 flight
So
back, and I slept the whole
front-loaded
way.
your rest.
Yeah, I slept the whole way back. So, yeah, I don't watch as much. I forgot to bring my tablet this time around, and I never like watching on the plane screen anymore. Like
The screens suck.
Yeah, exactly.
And like the earphones they give you suck.
Yeah.
And
don't
it costs
use
whether or
those.
not you get the newer ones that actually support pairing your own Bluetooth headphones to it.
Yeah, I just had that actually on my flight. It was like, whoa, I can just pair my noise canceling little buds with the seat. That was interesting. I hadn't seen that before. Yeah, I only sleep if it's like if I'm going overseas and it makes sense for me to like knock myself out at try and fall asleep right at the beginning of the flight so that I wake up in the morning there, even though it's evening for me when I land or whatever, I'll sleep. But if I'm going, so I guess if I'm going overnight, I will definitely try and sleep. But if I'm going during the day, I'm like, cool, I get to watch stuff. Maybe I'll play a couple of games. I tell myself I'm going to do work on the plane, and then I get on the plane and I'm like, this is not ideal. So I just give myself the pass. But I have done that too.
Yeah, I gotta do better about loading up my tablet with stuff to watch or to prepare for it or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just end up sleeping. That's the best thing. Or wrestling.
I wish I could do that. I
Or
just
wrestling
can't
with the
sleep on
Wi-Fi.
planes.
Or wrestling with the Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi never works. And then I always go back to the Louis C.K. I know we don't like him anymore, but still the Louis C.K. bit about the Wi-Fi on the plane. Which I will never allow myself to get mad because it's the
Amazing that we can.
the whole bit of it's just like you're in a plane flying cross country like
Totally.
the privilege aspect of it. So, all right. Well, we have been live for a little bit. Should we explain to everyone why tonight is a little different and what's going on? What's going on here? So we started a little late tonight. Because those of you who might be keenly watching social media or the industry might know that in about an hour and a half, Samsung is hosting a live stream to unveil Android XR.
Android
Project Moohan.
Drixer.
And we wanted to make sure we covered it on the show tonight. And so we wanted to time out the show so that we'd be able to discuss it in context on the show. So we wanted to delay the start of the show a little bit to allow that. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to record Android Faithful After Hours first as a special treat. There you are, After Hours. Our little bug droid is behind the bar serving up the stories that we didn't cover on the show tonight. We'll record that first as a treat to our live stream viewers. Normally this is saved for our patrons over our Patreon. But tonight, live stream viewers, you get a taste of what the After Hours is like. Maybe if you like what you see, you'll head over to Patreon and sign up, and that way you can get it on a weekly basis. But this is a little like a, PBS, when they show stuff for free for the week, like it's kind of a sample. So we're gonna do that first, and then we're gonna start then we're gonna get into the weekly show. And if we time it right, at 10 o'clock Eastern, we will go right into talking about Android XR during hardware. So that's the plan.
Yeah.
Everybody with us? So
Yep.
Good. Before we do that, everybody tip their hat to Mr. Clinton Woodward, who's in the chat. The streak is alive.
Streak is alive.
And maybe we can get a audio check from everybody in the chat. Tell us if our audio sounds okay. Win, how are you? Your hair looks different than normal.
I had it done today. Thank you.
Looks good.
Nice. Mm-hmm. I like it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So.
Was that enough? Was that enough of a sound check? I don't know. I'm headed to London next week to speak at DroidCon London. So it was a little late on the travel chat.
You are a world
You've been
traveler.
traveling a lot too, yeah.
Actually, we just got back Sunday from Maryland because my sister turned 40. So we came home from Japan on Saturday and then left Wednesday to go to my sister to go celebrate my sister's 40th birthday. And then I have 5 days in my house, 6 days in my house, and then back to London.
Wow.
I don't even know what my house looks like anymore, even though I'm in it. So yes.
You'll get back there one of these days.
Yep. All right. All right. Should we do some after hours?
Yeah.
I think we shall.
All right.
So then, let's make sure that I've got everything. And yeah, we will jump into after hours. Give me 1 second. I'll put up the little dealy bob. And we'll count down in 3, 2.
Holy cow!
That's right. Holy cow.
Holy cow.
It is Android Faithful After Hours.
What do you mean
believe
before
it?
hours?
Yeah. It's kind of before hours today because only for those of you who tune into the live show would you know that we were recording after hours before the show.
It's like Spaceballs. When is this? Is this now? Now is then? When is now?
No, this is then. And we're watching now. Well, what about
All
them? We missed it.
All our loyal listeners who are listening to the before show, before the main show, will be spoiled on the patron pick in the main show.
That's
because
true.
We'll be
Oh,
talking about
true.
two other stories today.
All couple of hundred of you. And the rest of you, the wide majority, have no idea. So it's all good.
But so why don't we get into it?
Let's do.
Here we are on After Hours. We cover the stories that we didn't get to in the main show. Starting off with the patron pick over at Patreon. We cover 3 stories get voted on. 1 makes it into the main show. 2 make it here to After Hours. And Mishaal, you have got the first one for us.
Yeah. So this story is the newsletter that I wrote for the weekend. It's about some screen recording upgrades that Google is bringing to Android. So screen recorder, has been pretty basic for a long time. You've had the ability to capture the audio from either from the microphone or the device itself, and you're able to show touches on screen. But it hasn't really had many other capabilities beyond that. But as part of Google's efforts to make Android better on large screen devices like tablets and future PCs, they're working on enhancing the screen recording experience, starting with a new toolbar. So this new toolbar, it is basically a miniaturized version of the existing dialogue that we have. It has the same options, but so what Ron is showing right now is the old current UI, and on the next screenshot is actually the new toolbar UI that Google's working on. So it's just a smaller kind of dialogue screen with 4 toggles: a toggle to record the device audio, record the microphone, and this one is new: show selfie camera. So presumably this will allow you to record your selfie camera at the same time as recording your phone screen. Say you're, I guess, doing like a let's play of a video game or something, and you want to record, for like a live stream audience or recording on YouTube. So that's like the main new feature that Google's working on for the screen recorder toolbar. But in addition, they're also working on a post-recording UI. So like right now, once you finish recording a screen recording, you get a notification, and this notification allows you to just open it in a third-party gallery app of your choice. But there's no native built-in screen recorder viewer right now, but Google's working on one for the future. And this screen recorder viewer will allow you to just see the screen recording in its entirety. There's a seek bar you can go through to view the recording. There's also a button to retake it, which will probably launch the previous app that you were on and restart the recording. You can click an edit button, which will open a gallery app to edit the recording. You can delete it, or you can share it. So just these kind of 2 kind of tweaks that Google's working on to improve the screen recording experience. And if you want more details, I would go to androidauthority.com, read the full article where I go in detail about the brief history of screen recording and the specific changes that Google's making to the experience.
I always thought screen recording it's kind of a nerdy feature that appeals to a small subset of users, right?
Yeah.
But yet it continues to get iterated, and for that small subset of users, I guess they're really happy about this. Like, I know I've used screen recording, but only because like sometimes
for demonstration.
Yeah, it's for demonstration purposes. Like, how many people have my use case? I'm wondering what are the real mainstream use cases for.
I've been using it. I've been using it so much, and Win, you probably can relate to this as we've been debugging apps and trying to show, like, wait, why does that happen to you? Send me a recording, and you do a recording of what's happening and send it to the developer. That it is a lifesaver tool for that. For development.
Daily, like daily, sometimes hourly when it's not a good day. Yeah. So yes,
I've gotten very used to the screen recording app. So I mean, it'd be nice to be revamped to be a little better, a little easier, but it's pretty good as it is, So.
I mean, it does the job, but it would be nice if they added more options, especially people like resolution and quality options and things like that to kind of tweak the output.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, very good on screen recording. Our next patron pick story that came in last, which I got to tell you, patrons, you really swung and missed. This should have come in first, man.
I'm surprised on this one, to be completely honest.
I mean, this is a gem of a story, and I'm glad that we are live streaming the show this week, so our live stream viewers can see this because I really want everyone to enjoy this conversation. But
I thought I understood them more than apparently I do.
But the story that came in last in the voting was the fact that Honor teases a curious AI-driven robot phone with a flip-up camera.
What?
And this, my friends, is bananas. So Honor has been doing a lot of strange stuff. They've been managing the rollout of the Magic 8 series, and in the process of doing that. And Jason, I included a link, by the way, to the 9 to 5 Google story that this article was actually based on, because it has the video at the bottom of it. They released a teaser video about a new phone that's currently in development or in the works that is built on AI. And the phone, as they say, will redefine future human-machine interaction and coexistence. And this teaser video they did, it opens up and it says phone, iPhone, AI phone, question mark phone. And then it goes into this bizarre little character that kind of explodes from the phone. And you see the bezel of this AI-based phone, right, which has a lot of design inspiration, shall we say, from both the new iPhone design as well as some Sony phone designs. And then it goes off the rails as a little robot camera on a gimbal pops up from behind the phone and
It's
starts
like a little. Oh, sorry.
it starts looking around like it's alive, right? And if this thing is, and then it goes into basically an AI video, which is clearly AI generated, showing what this gimbal-based camera attached to the phone is seeing in the world. But I got to tell you, if this phone is real and they're going to make this phone, this is bananas. Look at this. So it does remind me of those old Sony cameras with the little rotating Sony phones with the rotating camera lens inside of it. I forgot what those were called. Jason, it was like 15 years ago, but they were out there. But this has this little camera lens comes out from the back of the phone and flips up. And then is basically, like I said, on a gimbal, like almost like one of those. What is that? Influencer camera, the Osmo,
the Pocket 3. Yeah, it's kind of got a little Osmo quality to it for sure.
Yes, exactly.
And then it also kind of reminds me of that OnePlus phone that had the pop-out camera. Remember that short trend, that year where there were.
Or the Zen phone that does a flip camera, like also like flips from the back to the front.
Yep. So. I mean, bravo, Honor for
weird.
taking a big swing. I love it. We're gonna, presumably, we'll find out more about this phone at Mobile World Congress 2026, which I can't already believe we're talking about now. But here we are. But Honor going out there into the future phones. So,
oh my goodness! So this thing is funky. I don't know that I ever saw this coming. This one.
I love it. Look at that. It folds back into the back, and then a little window slides over it. If this is real, I want this. The video ends with "See you in Barcelona."
That just
2026.
looks a little too elegant. I don't know if I believe it.
Where's the antennas? Where are the batteries going to sit? This thing's going to have like a 2,000 milliamp battery because you have to.
Well, I mean,
the back of that Honor does use silicon carbon battery, so it probably won't be that small.
Touche, but then Wally will probably.
But it'll be a thick phone. This will be a chunky phone.
Oh, I love it. I mean, it's going to be so thick in the back to have that camera fit back there. But if they can pull this off, bring it on.
The little slidey thing. Oh, like it looks so elegant in this generated video, but oh man, see it. I'm
telling you, I've been asking for weird phones for years, and Honor is taking the challenge, and I'm here for it.
That's why I'm really surprised this was bottom of the heap with votes. Like this is.
I don't think they looked at it. I think they saw Honor and they just dismiss it. You guys slept on this. I'm telling you, big mistake.
Maybe we need we need screenshots maybe on the poll so that you guys can get like a little taste, a little amuse bouche. Because I bet if y'all had seen the damn flippy uppy DJI Wally, you probably would have voted for just to figure out WTF.
Or maybe in the same way that AI has an immediate kind of like just threw up in my mouth backlash happening right now. Like maybe robot does too, because they're kind of intrinsically combined. And robots used to be this like optimistic view of the future. Oh, robots is going to be so cool. But now I feel like the tide has changed a little bit on robots and people are like, hey, hell no, So maybe that's it.
Big mistake, everyone, for not voting. It's a big mistake. All right.
It's a cool phone. I want to review this phone, dang it. I think we all do.
I would take this phone as my daily driver if Honor would send it to me. I will use it, Honor. I will see you in Barcelona, Honor,
right.
if you will fly me out for
All right.
it.
If either of you guys get this phone and review it, though, you have to go find a grass hill at night on a starry night and sit it down next to you like in the commercial. I need to see this, okay? If you're going to get the Wally phone, you're going to treat it like a Wally phone, okay? It's going to be your best friend.
I will gladly do that. I will take you up on that. Win and Honor, I will do that. If someone will get me this phone, I will do it. So, all right. So those are the stories that didn't get voted for the patron pick. But since this week's regular episode was a hardware palooza, we didn't do any app talk. So all the app talks, all the app stories are here in After Hours. And Win, you've got the first one.
Yes, and it is delightfully. I mean, if maybe the Honor phone was a little, the Honor phone Wally companion was a little too much for you, I have something so delightfully down to earth because you're going to get more labels in Gmail, you all. So fairly recently, Google introduced the purchases label, and along with that, some functionality to presumably use some form of machine learning and AI to help you not only categorize, purchases, your kind of purchase related email, but also kind of provide some like ancillary functionality, like letting you know that packages are on the way. So if that, that little bit of extra utility made your day and made your emailing or made your inbox zeroing a little bit better, I have some good news for you. The people over at Android Authority took a deep look into some APKs and found two new labels, bills and travel. And that's all they are right now. They're just labels, but seeing as how we've already had, for example, like a lot of the Google travel features in the past, perhaps it is not too far to imagine a bright, bold future that's very close where you will have similarly labels that live in that sidebar that are able to both identify and sort your bills and travel related emails and presumably provide a little bit of functionality, maybe like notifications on when bills are coming up, or maybe even like say collating travel related emails into one little pocket so that you can kind of keep an eye on your current, car rental, airplane, train tickets, however you travel. Perhaps Gmail will very soon be helping you do that with some extra labels. So there you go. That's it. A nice, practical, down-to-earth feature coming to Gmail hopefully soon.
I did not see purchases as a label in my Gmail until just now. I'm like,
they
you're right.
very recently added it. They should have added these a long time ago. I don't know how they've stuck with just updates, promotions, and social. There's so many categories of emails that don't fit into those five categories. So this is something they should have added a long time ago.
I've had like ridiculous like self-labeling for decades, and just like tried to filter out like based on like subjective email. So thank you, Google, for doing this for me. And travel should be as we already mentioned in the pre-show, travel should be useful for at least, actually all four of us in this call. So there you go.
Yeah. Can I complain about Gmail for a quick second, real quickly?
Sure.
And it's not an Android thing, but it's the web app. So the web interface of Gmail, by the way, if you select multiple messages and hit the 3-dot menu, they added add star, like favorite messages, and move down mark unread to the second one.
Yes.
Oh, yes. No. Yeah.
Oh, my God. I want to put my head through a window.
Yep.
We all knew where these things were, and now they've changed.
Yes, it's like muscle memory because I click, and then I do mark unread, and then I archive, and now
every single time I'm like,
yeah, exactly. So
there it is.
Don't change things for the sake of changing them, Google. That's all. Sorry.
Well, if there is one thing they should change, it's on the mobile app. Let you add the ability to create a new label. You still can't do that in the mobile app.
Yes.
Also on the mobile app, don't freaking just put the Gemini and the account switcher in one place because it's still swapped depending on if it's a workspace account or a Google account.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they fixed that.
No, it's still broken. On a Gmail account, it's Gemini and your head, your avatar, and on a workspace account, it's your avatar and
For me,
Gemini.
it's not. They fixed it on mine.
Not on mine.
They stay the same.
No, I'm for sure. I'm seeing it right now, and it is like the work profile versus the other one.
Yeah, it's a Gmail, a public Gmail account versus a workspace account,
or whether you have Gemini in it, like maybe Google One or something. I don't know, but
I've had that, and it's been super annoying. But I noticed recently, I was like, oh, they fixed it because it doesn't do that anymore for me. They stay where they're supposed to be. So slow rollout, I guess.
Anyway, well, speaking of Gemini, Jason.
Speaking of Gemini, showing up on Google TV. We knew that it was going to be by the end of the year. Like we knew, not too long ago, it was announced that Gemini was rolling out to, what was the brand? It was TCL QM9K series TVs, and that other devices would get the update later this year. Makes it feel like it's a long, long ways down the road. Well, at least one lonely Sony Bravia owner that I know of, courtesy of this article 9 to 5 Google, has seen the Gemini setup process on their Sony Bravia TV. And so they get the whole setup process. That includes a step where the user can pick from 10 different voices for Gemini to have. And apparently those voices do differ from the choices that you have on mobile. But I don't know, sign of things to come or just a fluke. Don't know, because you look in the, usually on something like 9 to 5 Google, a story like this hits and you see at least a couple of people in the comments that are like, oh yeah, I saw that too. And it's just one person questioning, as we all did, why didn't this come to Google TV Streamer first? So no one else is saying, yeah, me too. But it is showing up for that one person. See, we got screenshots on the video version to prove it. So there you go. Gemini coming soon. We're one step closer, at least. One single TV step closer.
One step closer. That's all we want to do.
To Gemini on the TV.
All right, and then finally in app news, I know a lot of us out there use WhatsApp. I'm an avid WhatsApp user, so there are millions and billions of WhatsApp users. It's been a long while since we've had a scramble for a username on an app. Remember those days when a new app would come out and you had to scramble to get your username? Well, start your engines because it might be coming to WhatsApp soon. We know that WhatsApp has been working on the development of a username concept in WhatsApp for a couple of years now, and according to Android Police, this report that they had, it looks as if that day might be coming soon. That the username functionality will be coming, along with additional PIN functionality to kind of protect people from getting messages directly, get a little more protection from people messaging you just directly if you have your username. And apparently some of the restrictions will be usernames can't begin with www. They must contain at least one letter. Only certain characters are allowed, lowercase letters, numbers, periods, underscores. They cannot end with a domain like .com or .net. They can't start or end with a period, and they must be between 3 and 30 characters. So waiting for the green light, and then we'll scramble to get our chosen nom de plume on WhatsApp.
How do I make sure that I know that this happens the second it happens? Because this is one of those things I want to, you just want to jump on, but I'm not confident that I'm going to hear about this the moment it happens.
I think you should stay.
I would follow. Yeah.
I would
subscribe to Android faithful.
Exactly.
I mean, I was gonna give a shout out to the people who originally found this news, WhatsApp beta info. Like they are the ones who post up to date ASAP information on WhatsApp, so they'll probably be like the first ones to tell you about it.
Yeah. I'm sure Jason will be on top of it because we don't want to miss it. So I'll let everyone hear.
No, must have mine.
This is that's going to be a big deal when that happens. That's for sure.
Yep.
People are going to want it.
All right. So those are the app news that we didn't cover in the main show. And we did get an email from a loyal patron. Mishaal, why don't you share that with everyone?
Yeah, I got an email from Robert, wrote in from Alaska to say that I rarely use AI software, but I did find a small thing that helps me each week. Simply putting my work schedule in my Google Calendar. It's a bit tedious over the years to manually enter my work schedule in my Google Calendar. I work retail, so it's not a set schedule. I got a free year of Perplexity and even some use of the agentic browser comment. When I pull up my schedule in comment, I could not get it to put my schedule in my Google Calendar. I thought I'd give Gemini a shot. I have a Pixel 9 and I took a screenshot for my shifts, which includes dates and times, no other sensitive info. I put them in Gemini and asked it to enter them as work in my calendar. It totally worked. Sometimes I didn't get all the dates, but one more conversation prompt and it's added to my calendar. Small real-world use that I do each week. Love the show.
Love that.
That's very cool.
Yeah, very
I
cool.
wouldn't have even thought of that. I like that he took a screenshot and just said put it in his calendar and that worked.
Definitely give it a shot. I will tell you, as someone who has done this, tried this multiple times, for us in this industry, tech industry, it does not work that well because we have to deal with time zones And Gemini does not understand and properly
jeez.
convert them when setting them at Google
Oh,
Calendar.
That's a
yeah.
good
that's very
point.
Your
unfortunate.
mileage may vary.
That's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yep.
Yeah. But still, it worked for you.
Yeah, if you don't have to deal with
Congratulations,
time
Rob.
zone conversions, then it'll probably work pretty well for you.
That's awesome. Love that.
Cool. All right. Well, that was Android Faithful After Hours. We thank our patrons for supporting the show, as always. We hope you enjoyed this edition of After Hours that was recorded before the hours. But yes, you'll hear it after the hours on your feed. So,
Before and after hours, whatever it may be.
all right. We'll see you next week, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
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 Just kidding. We're not going anywhere.
One show down.
Yeah.
Hooray. And don't forget, live stream viewers, if you liked After Hours and you're not a member of Patreon, go to patreon.com/AndroidFaithful. Sign up. You can get that every week, video and audio in your own private feed over on Patreon. So, all right, should we do the show?
I think
Were we already
shall.
doing the show?
Let's do the main show.
Oh, no, we're done. I'm taking the day off now.
All right, night, guys. Bye.
All right. Who is Ron is? Okay. So Win side stage, Mishaal side stage, me.
Put your lighting back on, Win and Jason.
Oh,
Show lighting.
good
not After Hours
idea.
lighting.
I am illuminated.
Illuminated.
Hold on,
Yeah.
let me. That's just too dang bright for my eyes.
You're
Okay,
just too darn loud.
get off my lawn.
Okay.
All right, everybody, stand by because we's gonna go. Here we go.
Well, hello, and welcome to another edition of Android Faithful, your weekly source of the latest news in the Android world. And this week, we got a very special focus on the world of hardware. I'm Ron Richards.
I'm Jason Howell.
I'm Huyen Tue Dao.
I'm Mishaal Rahman, and we are the Android XR faithful.
Indeed, we are the Android XR Faithful. Finally, we are very excited this week to get to talk about Samsung's formerly known as Project Moohan, now known as Android XR. Right? That is
Yes,
the main
indeed.
event this week.
Yeah.
Well, in about an hour from now.
In about an hour.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, as we record this, obviously the vast majority of you, the event has already happened. But as we record this, an hour from now is the event.
Yep.
So we did a little schedule finagling
Juggling.
to
Yeah.
make it
Finagling, as we say in the East Coast, Jason.
Shenanigans.
Finagling.
shenanigans.
Don't skip ahead to an hour from now in the podcast if you're listening after the recording, because we still got a lot to talk about before
Yes.
the Android XR event.
I mean,
We're gonna
you can. You already downloaded the podcast, so
Yeah,
that's what
it's
we
really
care
it's
about.
just gravy to us. Yeah, if you're streaming, maybe
But
not.
we promise
yeah,
you,
but
there's lots of really great stuff until then too.
there really
okay.
is. Yeah. No, we're gonna cover all the important news this week, and then we've got a lot of hardware to talk about in addition to the Android XR unveiling that Samsung's doing in about an hour at the time of our recording. But we've got additional stuff from Samsung, stuff from OnePlus, stuff from Xiaomi, stuff from Google. So much stuff to talk about. Yes, it's a busy week. My voice is already hoarse, and we haven't even done the show. So why don't we get right into it? Mishaal, with the big OnePlus news that happened last week.
That's right. So OnePlus finally unveiled, and they talked about their big OxygenOS 16, their Android 16 update. And the reason I am kind of like looking at my phone is because, yeah, I got it right here. OxygenOS 16 based on Android 16 on the OnePlus 13.
He's got it.
Lucky, my phone still doesn't have it. I'm so frustrated.
Yeah, it was kind of it took a lot longer than it should have for it to roll out, but I eventually did get it at the beginning of last week. So I've been running it for a few days, and I wrote up this kind of semi hands-on / review preview of the update on Android Authority. And yeah, there's a lot new in the update. Starting from the design, basically, they kind of implemented some liquid glass-like buttons across the interface. Like if you look at the key guard, as in like the pin code entry screen, or the buttons on the recents menu, or the buttons in the app drawer, for example, like they kind of have this liquid glass kind of design. Whereas before they were kind of just opaque, but now they're kind of more transparent and kind of have this glassy material-like view. And it's not as embedded throughout the UI as it is in iOS 26, but it still does have some of these kind of liquid glass-esque design choices.
I was gonna say, did they add a setting to turn down the liquid glass like iOS is doing now, or?
No, there's no reduce blur or transparent
Oh.
setting yet.
That's too bad.
But other changes, yeah, there's a lot of other UI changes, like including the so the big one on the home screen, for example, or actually starting with the notifications panel, you have bigger icons for the notifications. You have bigger clock, bigger date screen. On the quick settings, you have a significantly more customizable panel. You have two segments in the quick settings panel. You have the top segment and the bottom segment. And the top section, you can change all the panels that are there. Previously, you couldn't get rid of the media player or the brightness or volume slider. Now you can get rid of any or all of those. And you can now, in addition, expand some of the tiles to make them 2x1. So previously, you only had the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth tiles that were those enlarged tiles, but now you can make multiple enlarged tiles. Although you don't have the full access, the full space up there to make as many tiles as you want. You're still limited in how many tiles you can put in that section, but it's still much more customizable than it was before. And another big change is that you have a more themable home screen. So just like in stock Android, a lot of app icons weren't themable. It was dependent on whether or not the app developer actually provided themed icon support. But now in OxygenOS 16, there's this new Flux icon pack, and when you enable it with the match wallpaper system wallpaper color option, then it applies the color to all of your icons, including not just on the home screen, but also in the app drawer, in the recents menu, and even in settings. So it's like it changes the icon system wide, which is I think a pretty significant change and makes your home screen appear more uniform. And yeah, just quickly, some of the other big changes. You have a more refined lock screen. That has a lot more depth to it. Like before, the lock screen UI, basically, you had this clock that was kind of fixed to the top left with the date above it. But now you have these lock screen clocks that kind of like are much bolder, bigger than before. They can actually have depth. They can recognize, like, okay, there's a mountain in the foreground, so it kind of hides parts of it behind the mountain. You can also adjust the text for these clocks better. You have more style options for the text clock. And you can also add some mini widgets to the lock screen. You have an expanded version of OnePlus's Live Alerts feature, which is their take on live activities. In OxygenOS 16, it now works with Google's Live Updates implementation. So, any third-party app that supports live updates can now be shown as a live alert, which is that pill-shaped notification that appears basically like the iOS live activities, almost exactly like it.
Live updates will continue to be a misnomer for me and fool me and make me think that it's live app updates.
Yeah, you should call it live notifications.
Yeah, but whatever. That's
a little confusing.
So.
Yeah. Okay, and there's a whole bunch of new AI and productivity features that they introduced. So they have consolidated all of their cross-device features into a new top-level menu called cross-device connectivity. They have also added some new features that allow you to better connect your device with Apple Watches, particularly. So if you have an Apple Watch, you can, for example, sync your health data to your Apple Watch. You can sync notifications. You can also wirelessly share your health data, as I mentioned. You can also control your camera. For example, you can control your OnePlus phone's camera from your watch or even locate it. And then you have Mindspace is now integrated with Gemini. So if you store something in OnePlus's Mindspace, like you store a note or something, you can now ask Gemini to retrieve information from it. And just a whole bunch of other updates, miscellaneous updates throughout their AI toolkit, like a new AI Portrait Glow feature, the ability to write social media captions using AI, which in my brief use has been terrible. I would not use this feature, but if you need help writing posts on social media and you want to contribute to the dead internet theory, then go ahead. But there's other genuinely useful use features like AI recorder transcripts, summaries of recordings. You can also summarize things in the Notes app. You can do AI search. So if you're searching for a specific setting, you can use natural language search to find it instead of just having to rigidly type a few keywords. And yeah.
It's a big update.
It's a big update. Like
It's huge,
I've skipped
yeah.
over several sections in my article. Like if you want to see everything that's new in OxygenOS 16, please go read through that article. There are still things I didn't even cover in that article because I only had the update for a few days before I wrote this article, and there's still a lot that I found, and there's still more.
And over at AndroidFaithful.com, Flo did her write-up of it after having, she
Yeah.
got a very short time period and did her initial impression, and it was positive. I mean, she, you know, I think the interface aspect of it and just the changes they made and just the smoothness of it and the delight of using it really, you know, had, you know, and folks can go read Flo's full article, but like she left it with a very positive impression. So.
Yeah, she said.
Yeah.
What'd she say? It looks so good. Or no, sorry. OxygenOS 16 might be what brings me back to OnePlus.
Yep.
That's
Bold.
That's bold. I mean, of course, she does have Yoast on, her home screen, so maybe that's part of the reason why.
That helps.
Yeah.
Does it? So that's cool. And Jason, I know you're waiting for you to get it on your OnePlus device so you can give it a test run. But
I had plans, you guys. I had plans.
Best laid plan. How do you make God laugh?
You plan something?
You make a plan.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I don't know, but it's interesting between like you've got these, you know, we've got the latest version of Android and Material 3 Expressive, and then you've got Samsung and One UI 8, although that rollout seems to be going very bumpy. We saw that we're not talking about tonight, but saw the reports that they're pausing the rollout to the older devices and of One UI 8. And you got now OxygenOS. I mean, you got these little slices, nothing doing what they're doing with OS. You have these little slices of uniqueness in the different OEMs, and they're all kind of fighting to have their own personality or their own identity to give you a reason to choose their phones, right? And so I guess Mishaal and obviously in Flo's perspective, do you think that OxygenOS is enough of a differentiator to recommend to someone like, get a OnePlus phone because the OS is worth it, right?
I mean, I don't think it's a differentiator in terms of like it's worth getting because of OxygenOS. I think it's just there's nothing really bad to say about it. Like it's definitely a good operating system. There's so much going on for it. Like people kind of have always likened to be like, okay, it's not. I don't know why people say this. They say it's like stock Android but enhanced. But even though it looks very different from stock Android, but it's kind of always retained that impression that people have given it, and also in general, it's always pretty fast and smooth. I think that's the one thing that people have generally praised OxygenOS for. It's always been fast and by animations, app launching, like fluidity. It's always been a joy to use in day-to-day use.
What even is stock Android at this point? I think they all have personality. They all have their own personality.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even know, because I know I'm guilty of that. I'm totally guilty of that. But because I live most of my time, my normal time on like a Pixel, I tend to look at Pixel as kind of like a version of like a stock version of Android, even though that's totally false. It's Google's version of Android. So it's interesting that we still kind of call things stock. Like, when's the last time we used an AOSP phone? Like, It rarely happens at this point. Yeah. Interesting.
Makes my job harder.
Makes your job harder that they are so differentiated.
That there is like not really a stock Android anymore, but just especially for like kind of as a North Star for design, usually kind of look to Google phones, but then and it's not so bad, but I guess I don't know, just because there are so many things that are just Pixel exclusive, kind of makes that a little less North Star-y, I guess. I don't know. It's just different. It's just different.
Yep. Tis indeed. All right. Well, what do we got next here? We got
some news, epic news. We got some. Well, it's epic news, but it's significant, but it's not epic news. It's an epic update. Well, so we've been talking about the Epic Google case for a long time, and it had been the ruling that tomorrow from this recording, October 22nd, would be the day that Epic, that the injunction with all the different provisions that Google would have to abide from the case would have to take effect. So this includes things like stop Google from forcing app developers to use Google Play billing, letting developers tell users about other ways to pay from within the Play Store, because before you can even do that, letting developers. Oh, there goes my phone.
Oh no! Okay, everybody stop and pray
It's
for the
fine.
phone. Is it
It's
okay?
fine.
Did it just slide off the desk as they often do?
It just slid off the desk.
Yep,
it
that
just
happens.
Your
slid off
desk
the
is
desk.
so
It's just
ever slightly not level, and the glass is
or
just
maybe
that
my
slippery.
desk is just an absolute disaster area that y'all can't see. Sorry.
That sounds familiar to me.
Phone's fine.
Okay,
So other provisions were like letting Android developers actually link ways to download their apps outside of the Play Store. So it was a really weird many years where you, even if you were a business where you had other ways of doing it, you can even you can even acknowledge it in your app. So all of that's going away. And Google has to do other things like let developers set their own prices, stop some of those money shares and perks that kind of like, preferred the Google Play in terms of exclusivity or pre-installation. And also Google has to work with Epic to resolve any disputes as Google continues to work on a system that will allow rival app stores in Google Play. So all that being said, the U.S. District Court Judge James Donato actually agreed to a joint request. So this was by both Google and Epic to push back the enforcement of this permanent injunction 1 week. So next Wednesday, October 29th. So I guess that's just it. It was a joint request, so it doesn't seem to anything too nefarious. And again, it did say in the kind of the previous ruling that, Google and Epic need to kind of sort out any disputes or anything in the execution of the kind of different parts of this injunction. So maybe that's just what's going on. The write-up for this was done by Sean Hollister at The Verge. And Sean did want to Sean did leave off his write-up in saying that, kind of hinting that there is a possibility that the Supreme Court could grant Google a stay by then. Because they did previously state that they would file a Supreme Court appeal by October 27th. So I guess we'll see in a week how that all shapes up. Will we get another extension? Will we get something else happening? We don't know. But the story is not ended.
So strange that Epic would agree to that.
Yeah, no idea.
I would
Maybe
think Epic's like, come on, yeah, let's go. Especially if there's the possibility of getting in an appeal, with the extensions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's never going to end. It's never
ending
legal stuff.
My charitable thought is that maybe Google is working on this system to allow for other Play stores, and they, as happens often in development, need a little more time to make it good. So maybe that's like the charitable read.
Well, yeah, it would be a bad scenario if Google was forced to roll out what they had, and they did encounter some sort of critical thing that. I wonder how that would work. I wonder if Google would just be like, well, I guess we just have to eat it for a couple of days until we button things up, because they're not going to just release something because there's a deadline and then the thing that they release breaks something else and it's a bigger disaster or something, right?
That's a good point. I've never ever experienced legally driven development before, so who knows what that might be.
Yeah.
It probably just involves like Google had to show to the judge and like the Epic that they're making a good faith effort to implement the requirements, right? And like if there was if they showed the court and Epic that we have a legitimate reason and we need to delay this by an extra week, then I can see why it would be granted.
Yeah.
But like obviously you can't abuse this by saying give us another week. There has to be like the judge said, this is the date we want it done, and if you don't show that you're actually working towards getting it done, then we will sanction you.
Yeah.
Right. Unless they're saying that unless they're working on it, showing that they're working on it, knowing that they're also going to the Supreme Court, hoping to get a stay. Like now you're like, playing with fire at that point, right? Like, So, legal wrangling. It's no fun. So, well, in other Google news, since 2019, there's been a lot of discussion. I know on this show we've talked a lot about it, and a lot of hay made over Google's Privacy Sandbox, right? Do you remember talking about that? I mean, Jason, when Mishaal back on All About Android, I remember we talked a lot about the Privacy Sandbox over the years and what
it's been a while.
But it has been a while. Well, as of a couple of days ago, Privacy Sandbox is officially dead. Goodbye. Basically, yep, there it is.
Yeah, you got to play the taps.
Yep.
Okay.
So Yeah, it's tragic. So roughly about 6 months after Google made a reversal in their approach to how they're handling third-party cookies in Chrome, combined with quote-unquote evaluating ecosystem feedback and observing quote-unquote low levels of adoption, according to Anthony Chavez, the vice president of Privacy Sandbox at Google, they've made the decision to retire the Privacy Sandbox completely. A quote in response to this that a spokesperson gave to Adweek said they will be continuing our work to improve privacy across Chrome, Android, and the web, but moving away from the Privacy Sandbox branding. We're grateful to everyone who contributed to the initiative, and will continue to collaborate with the industry to develop and advance platform technologies that help support a healthy and thriving web. And this came from news that was posted on the Privacy Sandbox blog over at privacysandbox.com, which is just really, pouring salt in the wound, that they're eliminating a whole bunch of Privacy Sandbox tools as a part of this change, including attribution reporting API for Chrome and Android, IP protection, on-device personalization, private aggregation, protected audience API, protected app signals, related website sets, select URL, SDK runtime, and topics for Chrome and Android, which was Google's experiment in interest-based rather than identity-based advertising. All of those cut. All those projects gone. What is surviving are the tools that actually got pickup and got usage, specifically, and actually decent adoption, specifically chips, which was cookies having independent partition state, which basically gives website a way to store cookies separately for each site a user visits. So the same third-party service isn't able to track the user across different properties, which is good for privacy. And they're also maintaining support for the Federated Credential Management API, also known as FedCM, which lets users sign into websites with existing accounts such as Google or Facebook, those third-party sign-ins, while limiting the personal data shared and preventing providers from tracking activity across different sites. So essentially, it seems as if the Privacy Sandbox was something that was needed back in 2019 and evolved over all these 6 years, and now has pretty much run its course, and they will focus on the things that work. Obviously, all the changes that are happening or not happening on the cookie side of things within Chrome really drove a lot of this, and the branding around Privacy Sandbox goes away. So bring on the snark.
Emptying the sandbox.
Yeah. Emptying the sandbox. Yeah. Closing the playground.
Turning it into a litter box. I don't know.
Oh, turning into a litter box.
That's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, what do you do when you're done with the sandbox? What do you turn it into? Yeah.
I mean, it does make it sound like they're abandoning privacy, which they're not. Right? Like they are continuing efforts to maintain, and chips and FedCM are things that did get adoption and are actually working through stuff. And the way they've adjusted the management of cookies in Chrome really eliminates the need for a lot of these projects. The sandbox is, what is a sandbox? A sandbox is a place to build stuff, try it out, see if there's adoption, and then let it graduate into things. And so they're eliminating things that didn't get those adoption. So it's not as if Google is just saying, hey, F privacy, right?
Right.
Right.
It's just that when it's hard to get everyone else on board. Like, they wanted to implement these APIs and get other companies to shift away from cookies, but they didn't want to go away from cookies because it gives them a lot of benefits at the expense of our privacy.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true. A lot of their business built around it.
Yep.
Over the years. Yeah.
So
okay, well, goodbye. Sorry, Privacy Sandbox, but I totally forgot that you existed.
Yep. Well, and that's probably part of the reason why they're retiring the branding. So yeah.
Well, you know who I didn't forget existed? You patrons. Those of you who are patrons, anyways. I don't forget. Okay, I feel like I'm digging myself into a hole here. I don't forget any of you. You are all unforgettable. Patrons, you're particularly unforgettable because you help pay our bills at Android Faithful. So thank you. You are amazing. Patreon.com/Android Faithful. If you want to support us and have me tell you you're amazing too, And we, every week on the Patreon, we allow our patrons the ability to vote between 3 different stories that have been selected to let us know which story we talk about in the main show and which 2 stories we talk about in After Hours. And we also let anyone submit art for the header. So if you're watching the video version or you're on Patreon, you can see that this week's art submitted by Brian Cantrell. See, Brian Cantrell is of an Android in a hardware shop, it appears, with a box that says top secret. Am I looking at the right thing? No, I'm not.
No,
Is that's our live stream?
That was the update about our scheduling for.
I was like, oh wow, that's so particular. That's so interesting. No, Brian, I was confused. Obviously, C. Brian Cantrell actually submitted this image of it's such a fall time image of a bug droid out in the fall weather with the turning leaves.
Well, Brian Cantrell not only is a lovely image of a bug droid out in the fall, but if you look closely at his image, he's holding the bug droid is wearing an oversized Pixel watch that says fall detection. Yes.
The good kind of fall.
Which is the funniest joke I think we've seen in a bug droid image in a while.
That's good.
I think at all. C. Brian Cantrell might get the award for this. So
fall detection. Yes, it is fall or autumn, depending on how you refer to it. I love it. Good job, C. Brian Cantrell. Thank you for sending that in. And then we had 3 stories that y'all voted on. A clear loser at the bottom of the heap with 8% of the votes. Honor teases a curious AI. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, Mishaal. Your face is covered up by the lower third. Honor teases a curious AI-driven robot phone with a flip-up camera. We might not talk about it here, but boy, do we talk about it in After Hours. Also, and I'm disappointed in you all because it's a very good story. Second place is 36%. Google is preparing big screen recording upgrades for Android. Also a very good story. Also talked about at length in After Hours. And the story that you wanted to make sure that we talked about in this episode, Android phones are skipping Qi 2 and nothing thinks it knows why. So yay, Pixel 10 family added Qi 2 as we have celebrated on the show. It's nice to have here. It's Qi 2 wireless charging. Boo, because most other Android makers seem to be skipping it so far. Some of them are opting for things like Qi 2 cases, like Samsung is doing, instead of integrating into the design. Smartphone brand Nothing seems to say that they think it's because of licensing issues. There are costly barriers that are attributed to Apple's patented magnet layout of how they integrate the magnets into iPhones. And Nothing says it can cost up to $10 million for custom systems that integrate Qi 2. So they are claiming that adoption is slow as a result. I'm kind of curious to know, like how far in advance do OEMs actually know about this stuff? You know what I mean? Like Google obviously did, because Google's Google, and they're like at the front lines of all this development. Like, are we just looking at like a slow ramp up because not everybody was in the know at the right time, and it takes a while to integrate this sort of stuff? Like, I don't know.
CarPlay, if you're listening, come on the show. You can explain it to us in person.
There we go. Yeah,
perfect.
That's all we ask. It's the easiest request ever. That would be.
Tell us why Nothing doesn't have Qi 2 yet.
Yeah.
And tell us whether a future Nothing phone will get it.
I mean, we have to imagine that these makers are scrambling to make sure that this happens to some degree, because it is a differentiator in Android. They probably all want it, but yeah, maybe it's just ridiculously expensive to make it happen. If they weren't willing to verify like IP rating, because that carried a cost, maybe it's the same thing for Qi 2. I don't know.
It's the whole Qi 2 scramble is interesting, I think. I mean, it's
but it's awesome. It's cool to have it on the Pixel. I mean, I don't have very many accessories, but it's nice to have that little magnetic snap and
Pixel snap. Pixel
Snap.
Snap.
Yes, we need more of that on Android. So listen to nothing and make it happen. And hopefully we'll see something soon. Big thank you, shout outs to David L. Heritage and Victor Trong from Canada, two amazing patrons on our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Android Faithful. If you want to help pay the bills, we do appreciate it immensely. Y'all are awesome. All right. Should we take a break? Take a break and okay, we will. Everybody's silent suddenly, so I'm going to get silent too. And we're going to listen to a few ads, maybe, and we'll be back on the other side of the ads here in a moment. Okay, no being silent anymore. We've got a podcast to do, everybody. This is a podcast where people talk and we share opinions and stuff. So let's talk.
Chime in.
Okay.
All right. Well, now we're into the much ballyhooed hardware section of this Hardware Palooza episode. And teeing it up first is OnePlus, as we have the official word that the OnePlus 15 is launching later this month. If those of you who are waiting for it, it is happening. OnePlus has confirmed the OnePlus 15.
Oh, wrong story there.
Wrong OnePlus story.
Yeah.
Big update, big news, a big phone, and huge battery. Am I right?
Yes. Big honkin' battery, that's for sure.
Honkin' battery.
Yeah. So OnePlus has confirmed that the OnePlus 15 and the A6 is going to launch in China on October 27th, 2025. I didn't say the OnePlus 15 was going to launch here this month. It's going to launch in China this month. So there you go.
OnePlus does this.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
that
that it doesn't mean that the global launch of OnePlus is too far away. The OnePlus 15 is going to launch globally, including the United States. It's expected to be in mid-November, around November 13th, which is my dad's birthday, which is roughly 2 weeks after the China debut. And so, it's pretty exciting. And it's also going to feature the OnePlus A6, which the company says will be a full flagship experience without compromise, which is, I'm very excited to see what that looks like. As we talked about last week, we're going to see a couple of different color options for the OnePlus 15, Sandstorm, Absolute Black, and Mist Purple. I'm very excited to see what Mist Purple looks like. And then as Mishaal mentioned, the OnePlus 15 is going to have a big honkin' battery. Those battery details were spotted over on Geekbench, and written about over at gsmarena.com. And it's going to have a 7,300 milliamp battery and offer 120 watt wired fast charging support in China. And it'll also support 50 watt wireless charging, which is just bananas. I don't know how you get 7,300 milliamp battery size in that thing. It's gonna be crazy. How heavy is it gonna be? Who knows?
Definitely got to be a dual cell. Probably dual cell.
Vapor chamber.
Almost
nonsense.
certainly dual cell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all that sort of stuff. So so it's gonna be really interesting. There's also some details about the display that popped up on Geekbench. It's gonna have a 165 hertz AMOLED display, so it's pretty very, very, very exciting. I'm excited for the OnePlus. I like the new, we talked about it last week, but the new camera system, the post Hasselblad square-ish, the almost pixel fold version of camera system. I like the look of it. It looks kind of like a little robot. I appreciate it. But yeah, we'll see. What do you guys think of it? What do you think of that battery size? So.
Insane.
I mean, I love it. And
I love
seeing that battery coming, hopefully when it's released in the US, like sometimes when I see these like large battery amounts or these like wicked fast charging amounts or charging speeds, I'm used to see that being like a thing that they get overseas and then we get some sort of, clamped down version of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm really hoping we see this.
And yeah, I feel like for a while, I've never really had a big issue with smartphone battery life. Like I haven't used the Edge, or the iPhone Air, obviously. So I haven't really experienced battery anxiety. Like every phone has comfortably lasted me a full day, but not more than a day. Like I wouldn't say I've used any day and a half or 2 day phones in a very long time because, processors keep getting more powerful, requiring more power. Displays keep getting more battery guzzling, and so like everything, we've got more powerful hardware, but also more reasons to use that hardware. But I feel like with this new huge 7,300 milliamp hour battery, are we going to finally push 2-day battery life on a phone? Like, is that going to become a new norm for some of these devices?
I don't know.
I would love for that to be true.
That would be. I mean, imagine that. Imagine if that. I mean, I think I think that's a bridge between something that can be offered at this point and the new norm. Like, this could be the direction towards the new norm, but I think we need to go a couple of iterations before that becomes the new norm, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, are we going to see, is the OnePlus 15 going to be the OnePlus Watch 3 of Android smartphones?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Who knows? We will see. But that is not the only news coming out of China, because as we know, that OnePlus's sister company or cousin company, Oppo, has also got some new phones coming out. Oppo, the Find X9 and the Find X9 Pro are coming, are being unveiled at the same time, with running with the Dimensity 9500 chipset. And Oppo still has Hasselblad in the back of their phones on the camera system, but they've also got the OnePlus squarish camera system in the back. So now everything's all confused. Yeah, everything's all confused. We talked about this a little bit last week, as we saw these were kind of rumored. We talked about the pinkish color, as we know, Hank, as we like it. I'm glad to see these get confirmed, as we see these come out. But the Find X9 officially rolled out, and a lot of the specs getting confirmed, and I think it looks good. I don't know. I dig this. I know these are China-based phones and not necessarily ones we can get our hands on, but I do like the look of them. So
Yeah.
Well, at least the Oppo phone for sure is not going to be China only. At least one of these devices will probably launch in in South Asia, Southeast Asia, in like Europe. So these won't be exclusively China only devices.
yeah, they'll be more international, but they're not U.S. based devices. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Global,
certainly.
excluding the
Global,
U.S. as
right,
it always
yeah,
does.
yeah,
Yeah. Global.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely a different kind of
For audio
definition around
listeners,
global.
we're doing air quotes around the word global because
Yes.
I don't know if you probably noticed by now, but for the past decade plus, whenever a phone company says they're launching a device, whenever a Chinese smartphone company says they're launching a device globally, typically means excluding the U.S.
Yep.
We've got to find a new euphemism for more than one country, more than the domestic market, like multi-country. We just call it multi-country, so it's technically correct, and we don't have to feel like we're being cheated.
How about this? It's only globally if it includes the United States of America.
I mean, that's how normally we
Yeah.
define things around here. So
I am joking, by the way. For people, don't email.
Yeah. The sarcasm for those who didn't
Poking
detect
fun
it.
of this day and age. That is all.
all right. Well, I have a couple things that you probably also won't be getting from Samsung. The first is more a rumor that we're not getting. The rumor mill was churning out some thoughts that maybe there would be a Samsung Galaxy S26 Pro. There's not. That's pretty much that's the end of that. There's not. I mean, like pretty much the what it's looking like is a traditional Galaxy lineup with an S26, an S26 Plus, and an S26 Ultra. The more interesting story, I think, other than the fact that this Pro thing won't happen, is that we won't be getting an S26 Edge. And
What?
there's a very specific reason why. Yes, even though Samsung was like first in the thin profile phones, they're actually not going to be sticking around for it. And the main and very reasonable reason for that is because of significantly lower than expected sales. So I believe
it had to tank for Samsung to be like, look,
it just came out. Like, so for this to be such a whiplash reaction, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Android 30 just want to make sure it wasn't a Mishaal article that I was quoting while Mishaal was right here. But basically, from numbers in Android 30's
No,
write up. The report mentions that globally, so for example, the S25, S25 Plus, and S25 Ultra sold 8.28 million, 5.05 million, and 12.18 million units respectively as of August. In contrast, the Galaxy S25 Edge sold only 1.3 million units, so significantly lower than that middle. So it's definitely, while 1 million is certainly not a small amount of phones, it is significantly lower than projected. So given that, they are just going to axe it for next year. Sorry.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, to be honest. And which is not to say that I'm surprised that it didn't sell well. I'm surprised that Samsung would go back that quickly on their kind of newest, latest, greatest, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
I
at
feel
least
they didn't
iterate
give it
a couple of
proper
years
chance,
on it.
right,
What's that?
Jason? I feel like they didn't give it a proper fighting
No,
chance.
that's exactly how I feel. I'm not certain that they gave it a proper chance. Like, I feel like when you roll out something new, like if they had rolled out the Z Fold, and after the first one, and it had issues, it had certain shortcomings for sure. And if they had rolled that out and been like, after 3 months, I don't think we're going to do another one. Like, I would have been bummed about that too, because like, well, there's still something to develop here and get to a point, and I think Samsung has proven that with its foldables. Not that, again, not that the Edge is like my favorite phone in the world either. Like, it has some serious trade-offs, but I don't think they're impossible trade-offs. And I don't think that maybe there is no demand for it, because that's what they're saying. But I would guess that there's some people out there that really would want this if some of those shortcomings were addressed. So that surprises me.
But I mean, also, I feel like they didn't give it a proper fighting chance in that, they released it mid-cycle, out of cycle with all the other devices. It was significantly higher priced.
Yeah,
I think it's much more expensive than the base model. So yeah, I just think a lot of people didn't know. They weren't really ready for this thin and light kind of new category of devices.
And
at least until Apple did it, right? So like, if it flops after a year.
That's another reason why I'm kind of surprised too, is because, well, Apple did it. And so I would think that, they would want to, like, they're one of the few companies, Samsung's one of the few companies that has their version of the thing that Apple did. I'm surprised they wouldn't stick with it and just
like they're not investing in it enough. I don't think they've got nearly enough data to decide if people are reacting to the app. Like, if people who are Samsung loyalists to see the Apple release and be like, oh, I want that. If they had enough time to actually get the new phone and do it, like, how can you decide that this is a failure so quickly? I guess that's the biggest question.
Yeah. What is the saying? Fail fast or whatever in business, something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Move fast and break things. The Facebook.
No. There's a different one. It's like about failing fast. Like, don't fail slowly. Like,
fail fast. Yeah, exactly.
fail fast.
They could have overestimated the market interest in this type of phone.
Sure.
And we saw reports that Apple did too. I mean, whether or not, I don't know if the thin Apple phone is a hit or not. I don't think it is. I don't see anybody talking about it since it came out. No one I talked to was excited for it or getting it. I don't know anybody who is like, oh yeah, I need that. So
yeah, I almost think that, and maybe I'm talking on my butt and I really don't know what goes into something like this, but I almost think that they went the wrong direction when they priced it premium. Like, when they priced it more premium, because it does have the battery trade-off. It does have the lacking camera. Sure, there's probably some really costly aspects of compacting the design down and everything, but if they had released this as like the baseline, and I don't know, knowing nothing about the economics of their decisions around their latest thing, but in a magical world where they released the thinnest, lightest phone as their baseline, as their main, their like proper, and then the upgrades, I bet you would have done a lot better, because it was the baseline, and it would have had the added bonus of like, oh, well, it's thinner. Yeah, sure, the battery isn't as strong as it is on the premiums. You got to pay more for that, but it's really nice that the base is really small, and like, I bet it would have done better for them.
Maybe they were worried about the perception of, like, if they named it the S25 Edge, for example. I mean, if they released it alongside the rest of the devices, at the same time, and it carried the name as it did, and they priced it lower, maybe they're worried that people will pick it up as like the default base model option, even though it's not the base model. And then, not knowing what they're buying into this Edge model that has compromises with the camera and the battery life. They find out, oh, the battery life is not that great and the camera is not that great. They start associating that negatively with the S25 Edge series, or just the S25 series in general, or the Samsung brand as a whole. So maybe that's what they were concerned about. Maybe they priced it intentionally to target the kind of people who know what they were getting into. Like they know they want the thin and light phone. They know that, okay, there's going to be compromises to achieve that thinness and that lightness.
Yeah. No, no, it surprises me.
Just to kind of put further detail on it, by the way, they are actually discontinuing the current S25 Edge. So once I think they're going to sell out like the current stock to some degree,
Oh, wow.
and then that'll be it. They're
This is a
not even
collector's
like,
item.
yeah, you got to hold on to that, Jason. Put it next to your
Put it
Nexus
I
Q.
was just gonna say, put it next to my Nexus Q. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Xiaomi. Shall we?
Shall we?
Xiaomi.
Shall we move on to Xiaomi?
Let's do it.
Because Xiaomi is not ready to move on from the rear display. Surprisingly, the Xiaomi 17 series that they announced a couple of weeks ago in China has apparently been doing really, really well for them. It's broken sales records in the country. So Xiaomi says that their devices, the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max, for example, set a day one record for the number of sales made after release, and that the company also saw a 20% year-on-year increase in sales for its flagship series. So for those of you who don't know, Xiaomi skipped from the Xiaomi 15 series to the Xiaomi 17 series this year, trying to match the naming scheme of the iPhone series. They even also renamed their device lineup to now you have the Xiaomi 17, Xiaomi 17 Pro, and the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max. So yeah, clearly the naming is heavily inspired by the iPhone, but one thing that makes it clearly stand out from the iPhone devices is the fact that the Pro and the Pro Max have a display on the rear. Basically, this display that shows you a clock, mini widgets, like a mini wallpaper. It kind of acts like a smartwatch on the back of your phone, or like the display on a flip phone. And people thought this is just a dumb gimmick. Nobody would really care about it, but apparently it's been selling really well in China. People really like it. So Xiaomi is basically saying we'll stick with this concept for next year. We'll continue to make devices with these rear displays. Who knows how long that'll last, but it is nice to see a company at least stick to a gimmick for more than 1 year. I'm looking at you, Google, and your Soli radar.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about this a little before the show started, before we started recording. Even Mishaal and I were talking about it, and like, bravo Xiaomi. In fact, like, this is awesome, and this goes back to the in the patron voting. There's a wacky honor phone that we're going to talk about in the after hours, and so make sure you sign up for Patreon and get access to the after hours here. So talk about that crazy honor phone, but I want phones with crazy stuff like this. I mean, like, this is cool. Like this, I want to see a phone available here in the States with a rear display, not just on a foldable. Like, give me a second display on a regular. Do we still call them candy bar phones? Is that still okay to be called? Is that still a thing? Or
slab phones?
Am I slab phones? Slab
Slab,
phones?
candy bar.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about the, to your point, Mishaal, like the watch, clock kind of example here that they have here in the photo in the 9 to 5 Google article, but like from a notification messaging standpoint, like, when you're, in a professional environment or on a date or out with someone, and like typically, like, to visually show someone that you're giving them your attention, you put your phone face down, right? That's so like, oh, I'm engaged here. But with the rear screen, you can get a snippet of important notifications coming up. As someone who doesn't wear a smartwatch, doesn't wear a watch at all, doesn't get any sort of notifications, when my phone is face down, I'm completely disconnected from anything that's coming through to it. So if my wife is texting me that my kid is sick or something's going on, I'm not getting that message until I flip that phone back up to see my notifications coming in. But with a rear display like this, I could presumably program it to get or set priority to important messages or important notifications. That's a cool feature. Like, why is it like that should be adopted by more manufacturers? I think Xiaomi is onto something with this.
Hold on. Okay, so I think before we talk about rear display and how cool it is, we need to talk about Oukatel, because to be fair, Oukatel has had rear display phones, and I posted in our studio chat. Forgot about Dre. I do want to. I do like it too. I like the idea of taking that bump that the iPhone 17 has and then making it a little more, I don't know, just doing something with it, like kind of evolving that bump that the iPhone 17 has, which everyone is copying now. But I did want to point out our beloved Ucatel has had weird, sort of watchy, very minimal, like widgety displays in the back for some time now. And I accidentally get to the chat one that looks very fancy, looks like a little watch, and there's other ones that have like fitness tracking, like complications, like a watch or something. So anyway, just wanted to say that. Got to give love to Ucatel. But yes.
I mean, Win, I'm glad you did, because Lord knows I love me some Ucatel. That's for sure. I think, and Ucatel and Xiaomi, they're not. I mean, I feel like there are others out there that have experimented with the rear display on the back of it that aren't coming to mind.
I mean, Xiaomi's like, this is not even the first time they've done it, because they did it years back with the Mi 11 Ultra. So they're literally reviving a concept they had done in the past.
Yeah.
But now in the hindsight, we have this, since the Mi 11 Ultra release, we've had several generations of clamshell folding phones. So like we've had a lot of time for this kind of concept to develop and kind of widgets and features to be developed and people to figure out what actually works on these tiny displays.
Right. So now here's a question though about the I love me the Ucatel. Don't distract me with Ucatel.
The third one, just pick this. I just got just it's relevant. No, the third screen, the third picture, Jason. This isn't just a rear display. Look, I don't know what is that. It's something that pops out. There's
so this is the Ucatel. What model is this? This is the Ucatel
rugged phone
WP300 5G, and it has a detachable display.
What is that?
Bluetooth earbud. Those are earbuds.
Oh, those are earbuds?
What? That's what it says. Like in the description, it's detachable Bluetooth earbud.
But that's interesting.
Oh, it's an earbud case, maybe.
Yeah.
That has a display on it.
Detachable Bluetooth earbud and modular camping light for added flexibility. So it's not earbuds. It's one earbud.
Okay.
It's one bud. It's just one. This is one bud.
It's for like walkie-talkie scenarios. So it would be my guess,
sorry,
right?
Ron, just before I moved on, I was just clicking through. I was like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Scroll down. I'm sorry. And our audio listeners, we're looking at the Ucatel website. Scroll down more, because there's it's a detachable earbud that also snaps into a watch band and becomes an all-in-one fitness tracker.
Oh my
music.
Okay. Yeah, so audio listeners, imagine like the rugged phone, but with an iPhone 17 bump in the back. And next to the two cameras, there's a vertical, almost like a Fitbit screen. That Fitbit screen actually pops out into a little, kind of almost like a USB drive thing, but with a little hook at the top where the earbud is, and then imagine an actual Fitbit case that this thing slots into like a transformer. What is this thing?
Can I tell you why isn't Ucatel? Why aren't we talking about Ucatel every week?
Okay.
Why aren't we talking about Ucatel every week? Why aren't we all carrying Ucatels? Why isn't Ucatel at the top of their game in the world of Android? Seriously, people need to know about this. All right.
This thing is $400, by the way. So it's not
only $400.
$400.
Aside from the heating problems that might arise with having this detachable thing on the back of your phone, it's actually pretty clever. Because a problem with having this like bespoke hardware piece of display on the back is like writing the software to like actually properly show the notifications, have it like properly shown there. But like if you basically just create a little fitness tracker there, it's basically just communicating wirelessly via Bluetooth. It's just that instead of living on your wrist at all times, it's on the back of your phone, and occasionally you can pop it out and put it on your wrist.
Jason, please scroll up and play the video. There's a video. Please play the video. Oh, this is like Christmas. I'm so happy right now. The only thing that make me happier is Android XR, which is coming in 5 minutes. So it's a very dramatic close-up shot of this Ucatel phone, and they're zooming in on the camera system, and they're zooming in on the back of it, and then
the thing pops out.
The thing pops
becomes
up.
A watch.
It goes into the wristband.
Camping light. It also has a camping light.
Well, no, there's two. Yeah, there's a camping light option too.
Yeah.
Right. It's either the fitness tracker earbud or the camping light.
Oh my goodness! Look at this thing.
This is the future of technology, people. I'm telling you.
16,000 milliamp hour battery. 16,000 milliamp
And the
hours.
camera bump has bumpers. Like it has like guardrails on the camera bump.
Listen,
we love you.
telling you, everyone, Mishaal, Jason, Wynn, I know we don't exchange presents at the holidays, but if we start this year, get me an Oukatel WP300 5G rugged. That's what I want for Christmas. This is just amazing. We absolutely need to get in touch with Oukatel. We need to let them know that we want to be the leading Oukatel review outlet, and we need to get review units, and we need to spread the word, people. Android Faithful, we're going to rebrand to Oukatel Faithful. I see it. I see the whole vision now, everyone.
Let me just assure you, Ron is not overpromising right now.
I will deliver this. We will deliver this.
No, I believe if anybody would turn us into Oukatel Faithful, it would be Ron, and he would do it like in the best, most fabulous way ever. I love it.
Oh my
come
Hashtag
on.
keep Android weird.
Yes,
Yes,
thank you,
dude.
Mishaal. I agree with you. Yes. Oh my God. I've longed for a camping light that I could store in the back of my phone or attach to a
or
watch
just
band.
decide to attach to your watch band. I mean, seriously.
Wait, so the earbud, does it
flexible.
look like an old school Bluetooth headset from like the early
Yeah.
2000s, you
Yep.
think?
It does. Yeah.
I love it. Oh my God.
Oh, that's so cool. So cool.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. Well, anyway, wow, that was
That was a tangent I did not see coming.
that was a wonderful tangent. That was so good.
Okay.
Well, Xiaomi, more rear screens, more Oukatel to come. All right. Well, we got a couple of minutes before we start talking about Android XR, but we got one more hardware story to talk about briefly, and the fact that Google. Hey, remember Pixel superfans? By the way, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that loaded term out there. Well, Google is revisiting the superfans group to allow folks to apply to test future Pixel hardware. They're going to be looking for 15 people from the people who apply for this, who will sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, and they will receive hardware and become a trusted tester and to participate in a program to provide feedback and help shape a Pixel phone currently in development. The trusted tester program must also agree to disguise unreleased hardware in protective cases provided by Google. So basically, they're looking for dedicated Pixel fans who will agree to test hardware before it comes out and keep it a secret. And wow, does this have potential to blow up in their face?
How is this not going
Yeah.
to just end up being a bunch of like tech influencers, tech creators? Because that
Yeah.
feels like
I don't think there's not many. I mean, there used to be. Actually, I don't know. I don't think there used to be any like influencers in the Pixel superfans group.
No,
right?
they filtered them out, didn't they? There was a whole
filtered them out,
there was
yeah.
a reckoning, because Juan was part of the group and got
Well,
bumped
no.
out.
Actually, I don't think they were ever. I think they were part of a separate group. Like, I don't think they
Yeah.
were part of the Pixel superfans.
It got real confusing. Yeah.
It got
Yeah,
very
yeah.
confusing.
Superfans is only for like people who are just like regular, who frequently buy Pixel phones and
Yeah.
engage in the community, and they get invited to it. But like, I don't think there's any like media or influencers in Pixel superfans group.
Well, they had super fans, and then they had. I feel like maybe there was another
I
group.
forgot what it was. Yeah, I know there was another
Team
group.
Pixel?
I forgot what it was.
Team Pixel.
That's
Team
it.
Pixel.
That's
That's
the
it. Team
influencer
Pixel.
group,
That's
right.
what I was thinking
It's
of. Yeah,
different.
that was that. Yeah, that. So apparently,
it's very confusing.
so super fans who enter this will be judged based on their quote depth of knowledge and passion for Google Pixel's devices and software, and they'll be able to suggest areas where the company can improve its devices. So this is like focus group on steroids, basically. So we'll see what comes of it. We'll see how they do it, whether or not they're going to, this is a way to sneak Pixel 11 devices into the hands of users and get hands-on user testing and or feedback. I don't know how they could potentially make changes to the hardware based on this feedback, because that's a pretty long lead, type thing.
Probably just
But-
testing the software, tuning the camera,
Yeah.
and things like that. Fixing bugs.
Yeah.
They're
exactly.
probably going to test the 10A. I'm guessing first.
Yeah, probably.
I think
We'll see.
that's the one that's
So,
coming
Yeah.
much sooner.
Yeah,
than the
that's
11.
the one. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of trust, though.
It's a lot of
You know,
trust.
But
yeah.
I guess they got to sign their legal docs and everything to be involved. So
If you're a Pixel super fan, get your application in, and you can be judged based on your passion. So, but yeah, so that is a lot of hardware, but it's not going to stop there.
no.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, We're going to dive into the world of Android XR with our man on the scene, Mr. Jason Howell, to get all of the details from the latest Samsung extended reality. What does XR stand for? Extended reality device.
I think so.
We used to
Yes,
call it
extended
Project
reality.
Moohan. Now it's Android XR. So stick around. Right after this, we're talking Android XR. We'll be right back. All right.
We're back.
And it just turned 10.
The clock just clicked over. So Jason missed the show last week. Why did you miss the show last week, Mr.
Because
Mr.
I
Howell?
was in New York. I was
what
in
were you
New York, the newest of York.
York.
And I went there. I was invited out to New York by Samsung. And my apologies, I'm like refreshing Windows to make sure things are happening the way I intend for them to.
Yep.
I was.
Things are happening.
Yeah, everything's happening. So basically, right now is the kind of like embargo release for Samsung's big event around Galaxy XR, which is the official name for Project Moohan. Project Moohan, if you remember, almost a year ago, Google invited me out to the Google campus to check that out, to check out Project Astra, and I got to see some prototypes and everything. Moohan was one of them. It's kind of like a VR headset. It looks very similar to like an Apple Vision Pro, but it's like a step up from MetaQuest, step down from Apple Vision Pro. And now with this event that I was invited out to, it was really like the final demo, the official release, which is happening publicly right now at this moment. But I got to be in the room with a bunch of journalists and the people who designed and developed and all this thing, all of the hardware and everything, people from Samsung, people from the Google team, because Galaxy XR is a thing and it exists. And if you were wondering how much it's going to cost you, it will cost you $1,800, $1,799.99. I can't remember what the Apple Vision
That's
Pro
just
is.
the headset. That's just the headset, though, Jason, not everything else.
That's the headset. Right? Although, if you get in early, if you buy this early right now, you get a bunch of stuff thrown in, which is actually pretty sweet. It adds up to be a lot, because they basically said we want to package this in a way that when you get the headset, early buyers who get the headset get a ton of stuff for it. So you get like a year of YouTube Premium, you get a year of AI Pro. You get a year of, God, I should have wrote this part of the detail down, but I completely forgot to. 3 months of YouTube TV, you get NBA Season Pass, you get all this Play Pass, a year of Play Pass, all of that included. And yeah, I mean, it's a pretty solid piece of hardware that is really designed around XR, around VR, which XR is kind of like the catch-all term to say, yes, this does VR, but it also does augmented reality. It does mixed reality. It does all the things, right? It has this like pass-through camera that can see the room. And that was actually one of the things that really surprised me about my time with it, was that the pass-through quality was so good. Like basically each eye is 4K, 4K display in each eye. And when you're doing the pass-through, which lets through the actual room that's in front of you, it's the best that I've experienced. I have played around with Apple Vision Pro very briefly, though, so probably not the best for me to compare it to the Apple Vision Pro. I'm sure they probably go toe to toe, but I think the display might even be better inside of the Galaxy XR than the Apple Vision Pro. So that pass through really represents the room really well, and the scaling is excellent. And then you've got like Gemini AI, which has been baked into the OS. They basically built Android XR, which is the operating system that this runs on, with Gemini from the start. And it's the first time that they've done that. And so when you're using it, Gemini isn't like an app that's like thrown on top. It's truly integrated into the experience, and to a certain degree, it's part of the OS. And so, and in my experience with it, it was really impressive to use that. So, yeah, what do you guys want to know? I mean, I got a couple of demos with it over the last year, right? And now I've got the final hardware and everything, and I have a video that just went up, hopefully, because literally it's happening while I'm talking.
Confirming your video is live. I saw it, and your article is live on ZDNet as well as on Android Faithful. Very excited to see that. Jason, you are covering the event pretty well, and I'm jealous because I was supposed to go with you to this event, but unfortunately I was unable to, and I'm so jealous. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so I mean, as you can see in the video, if you're watching the video version, it's a very slickly designed piece of hardware. It's got metallic touches, it's got cloth and fabric, it's very light. The battery is a separate pack that you like put in your pocket, and so it doesn't weigh it down, right? So you don't feel this like heavy weight sitting on your head. It's reasonably light, but obviously not as light as something like smart glasses, right? Yeah, it's a pretty solid piece of hardware. I really hope that I'm able to, instead of the demos that I've had over the past year, I want to kind of get it in hand and really kind of put, really exercise it a little bit and put it through its paces and see what it's really good for. Because I mean, some of the things that really stood out for me is the immersive quality, which this type of headset is, that's what it's kind of designed to do. But a couple of things that I can kind of point out. And I wasn't able to capture my firsthand B-roll of these experiences, so you just kind of take my word for it. But so there's one feature that is unreleased as of yet. It'll come in a future update, and it's called, real-time auto spatialization. It can spatialize into 3D anything that passes through the camera or the operating system or whatever. If you're parked on a YouTube video, any YouTube video whatsoever, it can spatialize it, and it only takes 20 milliseconds of latency to do it. And so I was able to pick any video from YouTube, and I ended up picking this NBA game, this recording of a standard TV broadcast of an NBA game, because I was like, what would this look like in 3D? And it was really cool. Like it worked really well. I'd say it worked like 90%. There were these occasional little glitches where it got it wrong, but the net effect of the entire thing was, oh, I could totally watch a game like this. Like, that is really neat. That was pretty awesome. They also showed off, kind of like using all of Google's services to like flex a little bit, but they had this like black and white old school photo that they colorized with AI, and then they animated it with VO3, and then imported that into Google Photos. And when you put on the glasses, it auto spatialized it. And so it went from just this old school photo to animated and living and three-dimensional. And yeah, like it gives me goosebumps thinking about it. Cause like, as I point out in the video, like, a few years ago, my dad passed away, and when he did, I ended up with this huge box of photos from his time in Vietnam. And I digitized all of them. And so when I'm looking at that demo, I'm like, oh man, that just makes me curious to like see what would happen with those photos, and just really your photos library in general. All of your photos library becomes spatialized. So all of your photos, your videos, everything that you have there can be spatialized through the view, and you don't have to do any extra work. It's just the way it is. And so, that's something that I think could potentially sell some units, because it gives you the ability to re-experience all of these memories in a completely different light. Are many people going to buy a headset like this just for that feature? Probably not. Or just for like the maps feature where you've got God mode and you're flying around these three-dimensional maps and everything. That's really neat. I don't know if any one of these demos sells the unit specifically, but the net effect is really convincing. The spatialization quality, the immersion of the headset is really really impressive. It's a really nicely designed piece of hardware.
So Jason, like as you mentioned, like you're kind of skeptical if these experiences will sell the unit, and I think the problem is that you got to try it. I got to try it briefly at I/O. Ron, I think you tried it as well, or you didn't get to try it?
I did try it at I/O, yep.
The thing is, we got to try it, right?
Yep.
We got to experience how awesome those experiences are, but how many people will get to try it themselves?
Yeah.
It's not like you can walk in, every city has a Samsung store or multiple Samsung stores, you can just go in and get a demo, right?
Yep.
Most people are not going to get the opportunity to try it out. They're not going to experience the wow moment for themselves. They're not going to get that moment, the eureka moment. I should probably buy this,
Yeah, where they can do that in an Apple store, right?
Where they can. But even then, we've seen that hasn't been enough to move Apple Vision Pro.
No, totally.
But then it could also just be because of price. Like even if it is a wow moment, Jason, like how many people are going to say, "Wow, this is awesome. Look at the price tag. That's too much."
Yeah, I mean, I think my kind of general opinion on this is that this hardware isn't Samsung might want this hardware to do really, really well, and I don't know what their definition of really, really well is. I don't think that they sell an insane amount of these headsets. What I think this headset is really good for is it's a good foundation to build upon as Samsung walks forward into what I think will be a big deal, which is the smart glasses kind of movement. Yep. There's a lot more energy in smart glasses. A lot of the lessons that Samsung probably learned building this, working with Android XR to build it, all of that stuff is going to be useful in smart glasses. And especially when we're talking about smart glasses, you know, the Project Astra that I checked out at Google a year ago, they had the monocular version. They also had a binocular version, which means, you know, one display in each eye. So it was three-dimensional when I put those glasses on. And those lessons applied to that, or the lessons here applied to that kind of hardware. Granted, they serve completely different purposes, right? One is about full-on immersion, closing off the world. The other is about contextualizing the world that surrounds you. But those lessons are going to be really good for Samsung. And I think that's kind of the point of the video that I ended up releasing. Spoiler alert, is that this isn't as much about this headset as it is about the lessons that Samsung learned to develop what will be a really big deal, I think. I think smart glasses are going to be pretty huge because they're going to be a lot more accessible, and a lot of these benefits will translate over.
Well, Jason, I mean, we did just talk earlier in the show about how, you know, Samsung launched a kind of new category of devices, the thin and light phones, and then it didn't even last a generation, and they're
that's
not even
true.
Launching a sequel, right?
Yeah,
so
hopefully
they learned the right lessons from this XR headset, and not that it doesn't sell well, let's cancel it in one generation.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because that is true, and I feel like that's a little different from what we have seen from Samsung. You know, I do point out in the video that what we've seen from Samsung is that they get in early on things, and it seems ridiculous at first. You remember the first Galaxy Note? Oh, these are photos from my dad. You remember the early Galaxy Note? Like, people thought that was ridiculous, and oh my God, that's so big. Who's going to want a big phone? You know. Meanwhile, that started a trend, a major trend that Samsung was at the very beginning of. You could say the same for foldables. Their foldable strategy. Their first foldable was not amazing right out of the gate, but it was a starting point, and it really set the path for a trend and that momentum that it built behind it. So I agree. I hope that's what this leads to. And I think Google's work with Android XR, you know, I think a lot of people look at this and they're like, oh, Samsung's going to give up on it, or Google's going to give up on Android XR the way they give up on everything else. And I don't think that's the case here. Not because this is going to be a screaming success right out of the gate, but because I don't see Google creating a new layer or realm for Android and giving up on it entirely. Like, they pretty much, they support it, you know, and so I don't think it's going anywhere. I hope that means that Samsung's efforts in this department don't go anywhere either.
Well, Jason, that really depends, though, on whether or not developers like Win and her fellow colleagues actually are interested in adding support, because this platform is not going to succeed without apps. So, Win, I want to ask you, what are developers saying about it?
Yep. Well, so it's a small group. You know, I know a few people. My friend actually Etienne, who was with me at the Android XR developer event. So there's still quite a few people, and of course it's niche. Like, it's the average developer is going to see it with interest, I think, to be fair, but not immediately think, oh, we need to implement this ourselves. Mm-hmm. But I still think there's a good chunk of people that have held the banner, or what's the phrase, when kind of like keeping the lights on in like XR AR, because it's been around for a while, right? And like my friend Etienne, for example, he's been tinkering with AR XR stuff since, like, oh man, what was it, before Daydream or something, just way back in those days, right? So I think there's still a lot of cardboard Daydream, like cardboard, so I think there's interest, but of course the niche for these are so narrow, and I think part of it is like a vision, like a vision thing, like a little, not like your eyeballs, but like what are the industries and applications that we could use this in, where it would possibly have utility. And so right now our kind of scope is rather small, right? We can think of a few things. So I do think the fact that it's a platform means it's very familiar, right? Like, it's not like a specific proprietary device, like a Meta thing or an HTC thing, where you're going to have to invest a lot of time and money, and it's like a very small, like it's a single product, as this is like, and this is the promise of a platform. So presumably, if other manufacturers are working towards this, the time and investment in Android XR would not be wasted if, for some reason, Samsung said we're out. Hopefully, the idea would be that other manufacturers might fill the gap. I'm not saying that they're out, but just saying that that's the case. So, I mean, it's a tough sell. It's a very specialized version of Android. I think I am very positive. One of our patrons, Patrick Fuentes, actually works on Android XR. So, I'm I'm liable to be very positive on it, but I think we'll have to see. And like Jason, looking at your videos and listening to you talk, it feels like part of this is also like a demonstration of capabilities and trying to foment the ideas that people might have about how to apply this, like that's kind of, and that's what these things always are, is like, hey, yeah, maybe you won't want to like look at your colorized photos in your headset, but maybe a developer or a entrepreneur sees this and said, hey, maybe I can try whatever idea springs to them, and that the technology is available for whatever these things we can't see. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I think there's definitely interest. It's small. It got a little bit dinged because of that big gap between December and now. But now that we actually have devices, if we continue to get support and encouragement from Google, maybe something will come of it. I think it's promising, but it's the same old story that we always have, where you got to get us.
Part of his my take on all of this is that, like, clearly Apple, you have Meta's been doing what Meta's been doing, obviously with the Quest and all that sort of stuff, and then with the Ray-Ban glasses, right? Like that is a whole thing. That is a train that is going. And Jason, you're absolutely right. I think the glasses is truly going to be the game changer.
Yeah.
And even Apple, we've heard reports that even Apple now is starting to realize that and try to shift resources towards glasses versus the Vision Pro and all that sort of stuff. So you have Apple drop the Vision Pro, and it really becomes an arms race and keeping up with the Jones kind of thing, and that where Google's got to do something in the space also. And by teaming up with Samsung, lets them hedge their bets. Google will provide the operating system, let Samsung provide the hardware. It's, not too much of a commitment. Google's building the development platform and letting OEMs build hardware if they want to, that sort of thing, and they'll control the experience. You're seeing, in the past 2 years, we've had Juan come on. We've talked to other folks, come on with the B-Reels and the other kind of, those glasses. Those things were out there independent of an official Android kind of development experience. Now Android can say, no, if you want to do that, this is the platform you do it in. This is what you should do it with. They can now control what that experience looks like, because we all know what Google wants with the Android experience is control, right? Personally, I still think the ski goggles, headset, VR thing is neat. It's gimmicky. I hate the battery pack. I hate it's just ridiculous, the looking at someone going, all that sort of stuff. But it is neat, and I do want to try it. I do want to check it out. For a moment while you were talking about it, Jason, 5 minutes ago, I did go, $1,800 isn't that bad. I did think about it, right? Because I do want the infinite canvas. I do want the idea of, like, what if I got rid of my monitors? And I just worked, and I could do, and over here, and and all this sort of stuff. I don't know if we're there yet, but this is a step in that direction. Yeah. But I agree, after experiencing what I experienced at Google I/O, and then hearing you talk about it, Jason, I agree 100% that the work going into this is going to fuel those glasses. Those glasses are the killer app, right? Those glasses are going to be the XR experience provided with the power of Google into those glasses are really going to be the thing that when I hope developers embrace, and we're able to get a more, I'm trying not to use experiential experience, use it, redundantly, but, a more informed experience in the world with this augmented kind of device on our heads. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah.
There it is.
I think the big advantage that Google has over Meta, at least, is the fact that it has such control over the Android ecosystem. Like, Meta's been struggling to get developers to port their applications over to, it's technically Android based, right? But like, they use a lot of custom frameworks that require developers, if you want to support the Meta Quest properly, you need to, develop using our SDKs and everything. Whereas Google's like, okay, we'll just allow your existing app in its tablet mode interface to work. It'll just work on Android XR, and they can open the Google Play Store and just install any application.
Mhm.
So developers don't have to do anything to bring their apps to XR. If they want to optimize their apps for XR, it's a different story. But if they just want to bring it, make it available for the Galaxy XR, it's just available out of the box.
It works out of the box. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and same thing with
is
like the game
true-
development. Yeah.
Right. And for like the upcoming glasses too, that's gonna be another game changer. You know, like Meta made a big deal with the Ray-Ban display. You know, like, it's really seriously impressive hardware. But the problem is those glasses, like if you want them to be thin and light enough to be like regular glasses, you just cannot have a lot being done on those glasses itself. It is literally it is dependent on your phone. And guess what? Meta doesn't make smartphones. They don't make the smartphone operating system. It relies on your iPhone or your Android phone. And guess who owns Android? It's Google, right? So they have a huge opportunity here with their glasses to kind of provide a standardized way for Android app developers to kind of integrate with Android XR glasses and kind of extend what your apps can do to your glasses. So I think that's a big advantage that they have over Meta.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I'm definitely curious, and we'll be eye tracking this closely.
Eye tracking. Look at that.
Nice.
Womp womp. I mean, Jason, on having been, had an opportunity to get hands on with it and to use all the stuff, and you've been following this journey for a year now, like on the coolness factor, right? Like it's pretty cool, right? Is it?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes with things like this, though, because I do what I do for a living, it can be kind of hard for me to know with certainty whether I would spend the money on it. You know what I mean? Because like I experience a lot of this stuff, and I don't, just full disclosure, I don't have one of these headsets. It's not like Samsung gifted me this headset, but I would have to ask myself, like, do I really want to spend $1,800 on this thing? And I'm still not entirely certain, just because I have enough experience with VR to know that it burns hot in the beginning and then it fades for me.
Yeah.
And, so $1,800 is a lot of money to spend on something that burns hot and then fades potentially. But I think the technology is really cool. And I think there's some things about the experience that legitimately blew me away.
Right. If you spend $1,800 on this, you got to use it every day, and it's got to become a part of your daily driver kind of like implement thing. And I question whether or not, to your point, the gimmick would fade and you'd fall back on the keyboard and mouse and just your life. And I go back to earlier this year. I had a meeting and someone came on Zoom with the Vision Quest Pro avatar nonsense thing, and I wonder if that dude is still taking meetings like that or not a year later.
Yeah.
So I don't think he is personally. But
yeah, I mean, the idea of wearing one of these things all day, like, ooh, we're going to work in these things in the future, I think that is absolute baloney. I do not believe in that future because these things, they are big enough and they are heavy enough. I mean, this thing's really comfortable. This thing in particular was very comfortable. It's pretty light for what it is, because the battery is off to the side. Though you said you don't like that about it. I get it. I understand why, but that helps, right? But I'm not wearing this thing all day and doing all my work in it. Like I'm lucky if I could last an hour or maybe even 2 in VR headset world.
If you can last 2, that'd be nice because that's how long the battery lasts.
Totally. Well, yeah. I mean, you can be plugged in and it lasts for as long as you're.
Well, we got to plug it into that.
Then you got to plug it in.
We got to plug it into that OnePlus phone, Mishaal, and get 2 days out of it. There.
Oh, there you go. Plug it into the Ucatel.
The Ucatel. There it is. Jason, did you feel any weight on your nose on that with the headset? Because they distributed the weight, and like that's what they said. So you didn't. Where did you feel Did you feel any weight of the headset on your face at all?
No, I mean, the way the strap works, it does the little tighten thing where you kind of rotate the little nub and then it tightens in on your face. So if anything, I kind of felt just like a general like headband kind of pressure. I don't remember feeling anything on my nose.
Okay.
But
cool.
I mean, but I also, only had a couple of demos over the course of a year. So it would probably be different if I had a lot more long periods of time with it,
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, so Android XR, I want to get my hands on it and play with
Galaxy
it. I'm sure
XR.
Win and Mishaal, you do too. So maybe we'll talk more about it. But Jason, thank you for the hands-on report. Everybody go to androidfaithful.com where you can see Jason did a little mini write-up about it. You can go to YouTube
more newsy.
to check out Jason's video. Go to ZDNet to check out Jason's article. For video
There's
viewers, you see
one.
Jason's Android Faithful
There's
article.
two.
They're on YouTube.
There's three.
And, ZDNet. Jason is all over Jason, you're a journalist. That's awesome to see.
Apparently I am.
So good. Yeah.
Apparently I'm a journalist. That's what they say.
You should hype Jason's video on YouTube.
Yes,
hype
everybody
video.
go like it. Go like and subscribe for sure. Yeah,
For sure.
So the show's running along. We're not going to do any stories about apps this week. If you want to hear the apps news, tune into Android Faithful After Hours, where we'll be covering all the apps news that didn't make it into the show this week. That show's available for our loyal patrons over at patreon.com/AndroidFaithful. If you're not a patron, sign up now. You can get access to the After Hours and hear all the wonderful app stories that we talked about, that we will talk about. We talked about Gmail, talked about Gemini, talked about WhatsApp, fun stuff. But we're going to do a couple emails before we break for the week. And Win, you've got the first one in response to our discussion last week. I love it when everyone responds. We got so many responses. We got inundated with email this week.
Yeah, it is rom-com time, as in love of ROMs. So we've got Seamus writing in. Hello, Android Faithful. I'm writing in response to your call for Lineage OS users to contact you. I'm a happy Lineage OS user as it allows me to keep my Samsung Galaxy Tab 2 tablet running reasonably well 13 years after it was launched. I can still use it to read ebooks, I can use it to read ebooks, listen to internet radio, and see you guys on YouTube each week. I think there is probably a large number of Android fans that have a preferred media device like a tablet that is no longer officially supported. Lineage OS does a great job of offering basic functionality without bloat, making it a better option for older devices. I'm grateful that Lineage is still able to keep the senior citizens of Android hardware going a little longer than might be expected. Thank you for all your continued dedication to the Android space. Seamus from Pueblo, Mexico. And Seamus wasn't the only one, by the way, that wrote in. Ron, you can attest this. We got a ton of responses about Lineage users. And then so Ron kind of collated and summarized and brought out all the kind of the big themes in what y'all's responses were to your love for Lineage. First, the overwhelming reason is longevity and security, kind of like reflecting what Seamus said in his particular email. And Lineage OS is the best way to get crucial security updates and new features on older hardware that manufacturers have stopped supporting. It keeps capable phones running for years, reducing e-waste, which is a major motivator for many of you. And I actually really like that. I never, as someone who's very conscious of their e-waste, I have to admit I never thought about the ability of a ROM to keep older devices going. So that's really awesome. TIL. Mishaal, what are you holding up? What is that? Is that Lineage?
I actually forgot when Ron asked me last week, are you using any Lineage on any devices? I forgot. Oh yeah, I flashed it on this tablet, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S5e.
Amazing.
I forgot I used it because it's an old device. I didn't want to discard it. I wanted to repurpose it. It's just an old tablet. So it's I'll maybe use it as an old photo frame or I don't know, like a little teleprompter in the background or something. Just display stuff on it. And yeah, if you want to repurpose an old device, Lineage OS is a great option.
Cool.
I might actually do that because between my husband and myself, being two Android developers, we have a stack of devices. Yeah. So that's awesome. Amongst all of our responsive from Lineage users, kind of the second biggest theme was Lineage OS being about control and a cleaner experience, letting users get rid of annoying carrier bloatware, preach and freely tweak and customize their devices. So control over your device as you want it was a big thing. And finally, we heard a strong philosophical commitment to the open source and privacy culture. That's awesome, and what I expected no less from the Android Faithful crew. Listeners use Lineage because they support the FOSS community and are concerned about Android potentially becoming a more closed, walled garden system. For them, Lineage OS represents freedom and innovation. Hallelujah. So,
and it was so great because we talked about Lineage, and I did call people out going, I don't know anybody who uses Lineage. Do you use Lineage? And you all showed up. I mean, literally the emails were pouring in.
Yes, we do.
It was a lot of people, so thank you everybody who turned out. Too many to read on the show, but I thought Seamus's kind of summed it up pretty nicely, and then when that summary kind of was the themes that we saw. But Lineage wasn't the only one that checked in. We did have someone else check in.
Yeah, we had one avid fan of Graphene OS, George, who wrote in to say, "Thanks for the show and covering alternative Android options. I'm a Graphene OS user. My goal is to completely avoid directly using Google anything. It is difficult and requires some sacrifices, but it is worth the peace of mind." And yeah, quite a short message, but it gets the point across. If you don't want anything to do with Google, Graphene OS is one of the best options you can install on your not Google Android device, although technically you can only get it on Google devices because Graphene OS is only available on Google Pixel devices. So you do have to part some money and hand it over to Google either directly or indirectly. But putting that aside, if you don't want Google software services on your device, then this is a very good option to do, because they by default does not have any telemetry or any services associated with Google. And if you want to have access to Google services, you have the option to install it in a sandbox profile, and that gives you the choice of whether or not you want to use Google services. But out of the box, Graphene OS does not have any Google integrations.
Yep. Very cool. So good to hear somebody checking in from the Graphene side of things. I didn't realize I also put out a call for Pebble users, which did get responded to, which was nice because Joey wrote in, and our last email comes in from him, and he says, "I'd like to preface this email by saying that I've been listening for 12 to 13 years at this point, right when Gina started on the show, so definitely a long-time listener. This email is for Ron. He asked us to write in if we were getting the new Pebble watch. I actually have been using Pebble smartwatches for 11 years at this point. I still wear one on the daily. When Pebble first went out of business, I went on eBay and bought 5 more of them. Only 2 of them are still usable. 2 have broken buttons and another one has a broken screen. As soon as the pre-order was opened, I ordered a new Pebble. I've been patiently waiting since then to get my grubby hands on the new watch. Why do I use Pebble? Because they're simple, easy to use. I can use the buttons to skip, play, or pause something without even looking at the watch. Easy to read in direct sunlight, and I still only have to charge my watch once a week, even though these watches are 10 years old. I sent in a photo of 5 of my Pebbles with another brand new still in the box at work as a just-in-case unit. And he says, the one on the far right is filthy because that is the one I use every day at work, and I just got home and I didn't have a chance to wash it yet. Regardless, I'm patiently waiting for my new one to arrive so I don't have to change anything. After this long using the same watch or watches with Pebble OS, I can't even imagine using something else. Thanks guys for all that you do, and hopefully the podcast lasts as long as I hope my Pebbles do, which is forever. And here's a photo of Joey's Pebble collection, which is just, I cannot believe he's been using Pebbles for 10 years. Like, talk about going to eBay and just buying them up so you can never run out. I did the same thing with my hair product that I use. I found a pomade that I liked and they stopped making it. So I just bought like 5 jars of it. And so now I hoarded it. So I can relate to it. So
Do what you got to do. Yeah.
Yep.
Love it.
That's too funny.
That's some history right there.
Right there. Good stuff.
And some abuse. It looks like.
So if you're also buying the new Pebble watch or you're a longtime Pebble user, keep writing in. I like getting the response. If you have an Ucatel phone, write in to contact@androidfaithful.com and let us know. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up for this epic hardware episode of Android Faithful. It's a couple of years, and I still fall back on saying all of it.
Oh, I do it every once in a while. Totally.
So,
absolutely.
All right. Great job, everybody. Jason, I know we plugged all your work on the Android XR, but tell folks where else they can find you on the internet or anything else you want to plug away. Your YouTube channel,
I mean, right now, I would just say go to YouTube, search for me, find my video. That's the thing I would love for you to do. And you can find me on ZDNet, you can find me on Android Faithful. Just do a search for my name, you'll find me.
Yay! All right, Mishaal, tell the people how they can find you.
I am all about Android XR, so Samsung, if you're listening, send me a Moohan or send me a Galaxy XR. But if you wanna find out where I'm at, go to my Linktree page. I have a whole bunch of social media platforms I'm posting on: Telegram, X, Discord, Threads, etc. And I'm posting a lot about Android, mostly the mobile side of the operating system. But yeah, I post about all Android platforms, TV, Wear OS, and hopefully soon XR.
Excellent. Mishaal XR. That's what we'll call you from there on out. All right, Win, where can folks find you?
Find me on my website, randomlytyping.com. I am Code Monkey in places. It is the screen name that I'm hoping to get from WhatsApp. But I'm not too much in the socials. I am an Android developer and have been for 13-ish years now, 14-ish years. And I'm the kind of person that will go to conferences and talk about Android stuff, like next week when I'm going to be not here, but in London, talking at DroidCon London. So yeah, if you're interested in Android development, randomlytyping.com, where all my talks, code, and other content related to it is there. There you go.
Yay.
That's me.
All right. And over my neck of the woods, I finally got some news to talk about, and
Yes,
I could probably talk about it on a less packed show, but real briefly, last week I was in Chicago for, I was attending Pinball Expo, where we launched the version 2.0 of Scorebit, my company that is Connected Pinball, where we're connecting pinball machines to the internet and to our platform. We launched our rebrand, our new logo came out, and then we also announced our new platform. And I'm excited that we finally launched the 2.0 version of our new app, which is available in the Google Play Store. Currently now, you can go download it and check it out. Brand new version of the app, built from the ground up, built with Kotlin multi-platform, built natively, Kotlin on the front end. I don't know why the screenshots aren't loading for you, Jason. That's a bummer, but I think that's a Google Play issue. But there it is. But yeah, brand new design, allows you to find places to play pinball, keep track of your scores. We're rolling out a new way for you to win money by playing pinball on connected machines at participating arcades. It's really, really exciting. And if you go look for it outside of social and all that fun stuff, we're talking about it. In fact, actually, Forbes wrote about it last week, which was really exciting. There was a neat little article there with me and my co-founders of the company talking about how we are modernizing pinball and the cool stuff that we're doing. So yeah, there it is. So very exciting. So check it out if you're into pinball and arcades. I'm working real hard on it. So
Super exciting, dude.
yeah,
Proud of you.
Keeping the hobby alive.
yeah.
That's wonderful, dude.
Maybe
Bring it into the digital era.
Exactly, yeah, and as we get quieter towards the end of the year, maybe we'll talk a little more behind the scenes about the whole KMP adventure that we got on, and I thank Win for advising us over the past year here and there, and answering my dumb questions and things like that. It's been a journey, that's for sure, but KMP has been awesome, I will say that. So it definitely was the right choice. It allows us to go native, both for iOS and Android, which is pretty cool. So
Imagine an Android XR app for Scorebit, or just pinball machines in general. Pinball on the
cool.
XR.
Oh, that would
It'd be
be
very
fun.
cool.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool, dude.
Yeah, it'd be very cool. So, all right. As we mentioned, Android After Hours available to our patrons over at patreon.com/AndroidFaithful. You'll get all the patron pick stories that we didn't talk about on the show, plus all the apps news. I've already talked about it a bunch on the show already this week. Just go to patreon.com/AndroidFaithful, sign up there. That's going to wrap it up for this week. Come back next week. I believe Flo will be back next week. We'll be talking about more fun Android stuff and having a good time as always. So until next week, go save your pennies and get your Android XR and get your
No big
Android
deal.
on.
Just
We'll
go
see
pick
you
one
next
up.
time.
No big deal.
Thanks so much. Android Faithful. Good night.
And if you do pick one up, send one to Mishaal. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Ukatel.
Jason, you gotta
I hate-
re-record that. It says Android Faithful. It's supposed to be Ukatel Faithful.
Oh,
faithful.
dang it. It's so funny. I got an email from them yesterday. They're like, do you want to review our phones? So
Yes,
I'll probably be
yes.
getting some Ukatels.
Yes.
And what I'm going to do,
Send them,
I haven't
send them Ron,
No,
like raving about it.
Send them
that's
this
what
whole
I'm going to
segment.
do, actually.
Yeah.
My reply is going to be like, check this out.
So
And-
behind the scenes, everyone, we
Yeah.
needed to kill time until we could talk about Android XR because the embargo was at 10 o'clock. And so God bless Win for bringing up Ukatel because that was...
And
When
then we
in doubt.
found the transformer. When in doubt, go to the Ukatel website. It's a good time.
Yeah, totally.
Can I brag? So at the Pinball Expo Convention Hotel, I paid to have the hotel key cards
Oh,
with our logo and with a QR
Nice.
code and everything. Like that was
That's wonderful. Did you take home like 5 of them? Because that's
Yeah, I got 3. I stole 3 of them.
good,
so,
good,
yeah.
good.
I've
Excellent.
always wanted to do that.
nice.
So,
That's
yeah,
cool.
that was fun.
Let's do titles.
Titles and then call it a night.
And
What
call
an
it
epic
Well, sort of call
adventure.
it a
Thanks
night.
for joining. Thanks for the journey, everybody.
Oh, there goes my phone. That was pretty funny.
Oh God, I just was like trying to like, and all of a sudden I just watch it like falling, just like.
We are the leading Ugatel review outlet. Cardboard crawled so Moohan could fly. When will after hours be now? Honor goes thick. Living Android faithful in reverse. XR faithful. OnePlus fresh breath of OxygenOS. By the way, is my audio clipping now?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm so pissed. I hate
All
it.
right, I'll read the
I'm
rest.
so upset.
Privacy Sandbox becomes a litter box. RIP Samsung Galaxy Edge. We hardly knew ye. XR extra extra extra. Lineage is pro senior citizen. Unplanned phone durability test. Privacy Sandbox becomes litter box. OnePlus's big honkin' battery. That's no Moohan. That's a space
That's
station.
no Moohan.
goodness.
I think we got to go with XR Faithful. Right?
There you go.
Is that it?
Do we want to go
Yeah.
Galaxy XR faithful?
Our Sam.
I mean, it's the product
Was it
is Galaxy XR.
Yeah, Galaxy XR Faithful. Yeah.
Then,
I think we got to do
some,
that. Yeah.
search engine
Yeah,
opt.
I think we gotta lean into that one. So
Jason, you seem to be okay with except for plosives. Like project was tough, but everything else is okay.
So yeah, so that is one thing that I'm wondering is it audio related? But it
no, when you go back and listen to it, it was throughout your whole thing.
it was just doing
yeah.
the
Okay,
choppy
well-
chop.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I think
like right now, it's
what does
better.
it happen? Does it happen when Ron is TDing? Like when he's like doing the browser? Because I know
I
you're doing
wasn't
it this time, right?
No, Jason was TDing the whole night.
Yeah, I
It-
think.
it-
But does it happen when Ron is doing the TDing?
I think it has, right?
I mean, yeah, it's happened. Yeah.
That shouldn't have anything
Yeah.
to do with it, really, right?
It's really intermittent. And like the severity is also intermittent. I'm sorry, we shouldn't like dwell on
Yeah.
it,
Right,
upset you,
yeah.
but
Well, no. I want to figure it out. I hate it. Like it. I think it degrades the quality of the
Yeah.
show, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
it
like
does.
it.
Yeah,
and there's no way for me to fix it after the fact. If I could go in and fix it after the fact, I would.
So
but
your local recording also
Yep.
has it?
local recording. That's why I know it's the machine.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous because like this is not an old. I mean, this isn't an ancient machine. Like an M1 should be able to do a live podcast.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do. I mean, the next thing that I could do is like try and use Safari, I guess, instead of Chrome. Maybe that would do it.
Is it software or is it USB handling? I mean, like, what are the?
I mean, I've tried the whole USB thing, and I had that one time where it seemed like it fixed it, and so I was like, oh yeah, I figured it out. But then anytime since then, it's not.
Right.
So I don't know that it's USB.
Yeah, it could just be like Chrome, like the Mac OS version of Chrome, like someone as cousin John mentioned, StreamYard. Like, does it happen if you just record locally in like Audacity, for example? If you're just talking to yourself
Probably
in
not.
Audacity,
Almost
you get
certainly
crap.
not. Almost
Yeah.
certainly not.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think like when I use this laptop. Let me think. Oh, I'm wondering. Ooh, could it be the audio interface?
Did your box
Now?
go? Yeah.
Because I've got 3 different audio interfaces I could use. This one, I've got another Focusrite, and then I have a different one. And I had used a different one up here for a long time and not had issues then. So I don't know if it was because of that or if it was just, something else. So I guess I'll try that. Because when I go, and actually that's kind of a clue now that I'm thinking about it. Because when we had the bathroom remodel. And so a lot of times I had to podcast in the garage downstairs, and I used this laptop to do that. And I don't think I encountered issues because I was using a different audio interface. I wonder if it's this Focusrite.
I bet you it's the Focusrite. Remember my
Maybe it's
Focusrite
it's
died and I got a
going.
new one a couple of years ago. Do you remember that?
Oh, I hadn't even considered that as a possibility,
Yep.
but that might be it.
I bet you that's it.
I hope that's it. That would be an
that'd
easy
be so
fix.
great.
That'd be a great fix. Yeah.
That better than buying a friggin' new laptop, which is what I've been figuring I'm probably gonna have to do.
Well, hey, if sometime between now and next week's show you want to run a test, just hit me up and let me know I'm around.
Yeah,
so.
the weird thing is, like sometimes at the beginning it's fine, and then you know what I mean. It develops over time. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, I will take you up on that, but I think it might just be I bring in the other interface,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
and try that next week.
All right. Well,
Okay.
We've been going a marathon session, so I'm sure everyone
Yes.
wants to get back to
Yeah.
their lives. So thanks everybody for watching. Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye bye.
See you later.
Bye, y'all.